Did you make a move? I bet you did. I bet you did. You think you're slick, think you're cool, but you're a fool. You better listen to me. Listen to me. I have a feeling you don't wanna know what she'll do to you. Oh, she's always right. You think you got away with it. You think you got away with it. You think you got away with it. You think you got away with it.
Hey everybody, thank you for waiting and being patient and watching my intro 2 or 3 times. Hope you like it. It's brand new. I've been kind of experimenting with new intros to kind of switch it up because I don't like the same one over and over. I like to have some variety because the variety is the spice of life. Hi everybody. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me so that I am not talking to myself here. Oh, good. I'm so glad you guys love the new intro. Awesome. And welcome in. If you are new here, welcome, welcome. I am True Crime with Eve. Soon to be, everyone. Soon to be the Eve effect. I am changing my YouTube name. I know. Don't throw tomatoes just yet. But the reason for that is that true crime in itself has become a taboo thing just to associate with. No matter what, I don't feel one way or the other. I think that's just a label that we call this community, or I'm not even going to say community, this genre of what we cover, some of us anyway. So what's so true about it sometimes, And that was my first thought of, okay, let's change this. I'm definitely ready to move on from this true crime association, if you will. So it'll be the Eve effect. Because I feel like my mind and some of the things that I can look at that maybe others either can't or they just don't know the back ends of things like I do with this crime community or crime genre, rather. I hope that I can provide that. So the Eve effect sounded good to me with the help of my husband, Mr. Eve. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm glad you like the intros and stuff. So yeah, that will be the new name of my channel. So I have a lot to do. I have a lot of editing to do. Like I don't have enough going on. So good to see you, everyone. Hit that like button while you're here. Lurkers in the back, that means you too. It's free, doesn't cost you anything, and it doesn't out you at all. I will know none the wiser. Hellcat says, I'll catch you on the replay. Thank you for that. Miss Rubug, as always, welcome, welcome. I am definitely Going to throw you that wrench tonight. Probably going to need it because, you know, it's going to be a little not snarky or sassy, but there are things that, you know, they're sensitive in this probable cause affidavit um, that we are going to go over um, and the complaint and some of the other things that I did receive on Stacey and Sarah's charges. So does that mean Sarah's going to be arraigned and um, all of that stuff? Probably, yeah. She does have a detainer on her. She was granted parole. However, it's on the stipulation of what happens with the detainer that Payette placed on her to more than likely, 99% sure, extradite her to Payette from Ada County, where she's at, and charge her. Okay. So, real quick before I do that, I want to say hi to everybody because there are more than uh, my huge in here. Hey, Forensic Castro. Justice for Michael. Absolutely. Absolutely. And welcome everyone coming. Again, hit that like button. Forensic Castro said, I smacked it. I smacked that like button. Thank you. Everyone else do the same. Toe Beans, good evening. If I miss anybody, or if you're watching the replay, welcome in. Glad you're here. Vicky Windsor 9777. Same here, no sound. I am so sorry about that. I have to switch my sound from here to work-related things, and it does not like to cooperate. Tobin says, I have been playing your playlist at night. I swear I'm not stalking you. Stalk away, especially on the playlist. Has a lot of good stuff in there. Laura Art, oh my gosh, not late. I get a billboard. Woo! Welcome in. All right. I don't think I missed. Oh, Sweet Dude Shibby. Sweet Dude Shibby. One moment, you know I have to do it every time. This time I won't actually put the word eggplant in here. There you go. Hi, Sweet Dude Shibby. Oh, my girl Sleuthy's in here. Carla, welcome in. Sleuthy Goosey says, thanks for getting these documents, Eve. You're literally the first person to receive this and put it out here for us to listen. Not even the news has put this out. I don't know if they're even trying to get it. Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you for giving me that shout out. I don't know if others have it per close sources that, behind the scenes has it already because of that close source. But I do have it requested. It was sealed just mere days before I requested it again. Because, your girl Eve is habitual on her FOIAs. If I'm denied, that doesn't mean I'm not going to get them one day. Right? So thank you for that. Thank you for the shout out. Sunflower Soul, welcome in, welcome in. The only little Texas tornado. It's been a while since I've seen you in chat. Welcome in. Jeep Girl says, I'm here, damn it. I've dragged myself out into the YouTube streets. Thank you for being here, Jeep. Polygraph, my first time here. Awesome. Welcome in. Glad everyone made it. Now, before we get into, I know everyone's like, let's just get into this probable cause. I am so, I've been waiting 4 years, as many others have, to get an idea of what may have occurred to sweet little Michael Vaughan, then 5 years old, who went missing near his home on July 27, 2021. Allegedly from 6:40 to 7, which we will see that huge change in possibility, which shocked me. Yeah, he went missing and has not been found to this date. There are at least one publicly named suspect out of the 4 who were named in November of 2022 for his alleged Michael's alleged murder and kidnapping. It's hard to say, guys. And another charge of destruction of evidence. Phew. It's really hard. I'm like a little nervous, not because of covering this. It's more so that something doesn't feel right. And my nerves know when I have to be careful and still try to say things in a professional way or in a decent way when I know in my heart and soul something's wrong. Anybody else feel that way ever, where it's just like your nerves can't, it has a hard time allowing you to fake it till you make it, right? But you need to. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. And you'll see why here soon, okay? It's very nerve-wracking, to say the least. Okay. Now, again, if you're new here, I gave you the basics in the rundown. At the very beginning of this case, there was footage that I wouldn't say disappeared, but some of the news media that captured some of the, searches and things like that. They had a data breach at some of the news organizations there in Idaho and others surrounding networks that had, again, a breach, and a lot of data was kind of held hostage for ransom, if you will. And I don't know if they recovered most of that or not. All I know is that some of that was not put out. There were things that were not um, available for a long time, at least, bare minimum. Okay. Thank you, Toe Beans. I need the words of encouragement. It's hard because I've been covering this case along with many others, um, or just people who are watching and seeing and trying to help throughout the years, and it's here. You're like, wow, oh my goodness, 4 years, and so it's tough, you know. Um, but we're here, and we're gonna see where it goes. I am not so sure. I really am not, and you'll see again here shortly. Now, again, for those of you who are new, Michael went missing here. I think it's very important that we at least um, go over some of the small things, the easy things, to get it out of the way and maybe refresh some of your memories who haven't been following it for a while. Okay? Just basic stuff. All right. So Michael's home is right here. You see it. I have a monkey's home on 911 Southwest 9th Street here. The main entrance into the subdivision here, Crestview, is Southwest 8th right here. So you go off of the main highway here, and then Southwest 8th is here. You have Whitley Court kind of crossing over, but the splash pad is here. Very important. Uh-oh. Can you still hear me? I think we're good. I think we're good. I might have lost you. That's okay. If you put a 1 in the chat, if you can hear me, I'll move on. But the splash pad is where, everybody goes and plays, and they have a little splash pad for you to cool off in the summer. Awesome. I see the ones. Thank you, guys. Hi, Courtney Shook. Welcome in. I need to respond to you. If I didn't, I'm sorry. I've had a lot going on, a lot of calls. Welcome in, love. All right, so Cornwall Way is the first right that you could take into this big subdivision, and it kind of loops around. And then you have, Michael's little neighborhood here with Southwest 9th in Arizona. Arizona is right here. Southwest 9th is here. It does split in the middle. There's a road right here that goes in the middle of his neighborhood called Washington. I think it's either Washington Avenue or Washington Street, one of those. It's been a while. But those are really the only ways that you can go through this neighborhood is always coming back out to Southwest 8th, unless you want to be weird and suspicious and come down these dirt roads. It's totally doable. You can definitely get to another road, but that's for another day, okay? So that's the first entrance to the right into Cornwall Way. That is important. You will need to know this. At least know that Cornwall subdivision is here, even though it's Crestview. This is technically Red Williams Brown or something like that. And then this section right here is the bougie area, the ritzy area. The ritzy area. And this is where the 4 suspects in this neighborhood were staying on the day that Michael went missing. And that's going to be important to know. So Michael's house is here. Splash pad is here. And then Cornwall Way is this one on this side. And then the bluffs are over here. You can enter 2 ways on this section, okay? And Hidden Meadows is also another word for it. I think they split it into the bluffs here. And then like everything else is Hidden Meadows, but whatever. So the first right that you could take into this second area is you go down here and you can go in a circle on Pintail. Meadowlark, which is very important that you're going to need to know this Meadowlark. And it says Mallard here, but really it's Red Wing Street. This is the street that the 4 suspects, their home is. The 2 suspects, Sarah and Stacey Wondra, are staying, and then their sublets are Brandon Shirtliff and Adrian Lucian, okay? You can go around and spit out on Mallard Street, this one right here. And then that's how you get out of the neighborhood that way. Or you can come up here and go to Wood Duck right here and go down 3 Rivers Way, okay? Clear as mud. And I have to clear that up because that's going to be something in the probable cause that you're going to need to remember, or at least try to reference if you're watching this for the first time or haven't heard this case before. I just want to give you that courtesy. The Treasy area up here is a separate area, but you can very easily get to it if you just hopped a fence. And you can get from over here down to this treesy area, the triangle, when it starts to get a little treesy. You can jump these little barriers, they're not hard to do, and get into the neighborhood. That's important to know as well. There has been some confliction in the past many times on who was where and what was where, and we'll get to that. You can go through this splash pad right here and go through the drainage ditch area. There is a fence right here, but you could open the gate and go through here, walk along this little area, and kind of sneak through this little open patch and get onto Cornwall Way. Or you can cut through and either hop on over this way or that way to get to the second subdivision over here, Hidden Meadows. Okay, clear as mud. Well, hello, Mr. Eve. Good to see you in here. Thank you for letting me go live tonight and giving me that space to do so. If you're new here, again, hit that like button. It's not going to cost you anything. Appreciate you for doing that. All right. I think my nerves are wearing down a little bit. I'm good. I think we're good. Just needed to pop my neck, crack my neck and do a little fist pumps like, I got this, right? 4 years. Whew. All right. So the first thing before we jump into a video is Mike Duke, who is the Payette County prosecutor, who will be, I'm assuming, running this gamut very soon. He released a statement and we're going to read that statement really fast just to get caught up. There are things in it that I still don't understand what they mean. It kind of seems like one of those word salads, but it doesn't matter because we're just going to focus on what it says, and you can decide what it means to you. All right. Do you see that I'm very well prepared, unlike normal? I tried really hard to be prepared for you guys. So if I fail at that, I'm really sorry. So the evelets say hi. Hello. Hello. All right. Payette County Prosecutor Michael Duke. So there was a creator that was live that found out per a, how would you say it, a mole in the group that was playing both sides, you know what I mean? Lynn, she had befriended Stacey Wondra, one of the suspects, and recorded the call very terribly. Couldn't hear anything much, but you could get the gist that he was telling her, they just charged me, meaning there was a detainer held on him. He was in Arizona and being held, or was going to be held into the local county jail there in Maricopa County. And the reason why he was in Arizona was to finish his sentence, because they kind of ping pong you around, the last, whatever your sentence is, year, 6 months, something like that. If they need to place you to make more room, they just put you on a plane or a bus and put you wherever. And I think it's part of the IAD agreement. So it's like over state lines with BOP, Bureau of Prisons. Anyway, so he was there and he told her, I've been charged with first-degree murder, second-degree kidnapping, and destruction of evidence. Okay. And she runs and tells them, and the mother of Michael Vaughan confirms it. I had known about it at the time already. However, I felt like I needed to wait. We needed to see exactly what was going on with the paperwork. I don't like putting things out there that I don't know for 100% certainty, and I'm not going to take Stacey Wondra, his word for it at face value. I want to see it, right? And so there we go. So let's read this. So it got out. Everybody knew about it. The news started reporting on it, I believe, the next day. And so Mike Duke had to make a statement. And he says, Michael Vaughan case update. My office is moving forward with charges against the individuals involved in the disappearance and murder of 5-year-old Michael Vaughan, which occurred in the summer of 2021. After a robust investigation by the Fruitland Police Department and countless assisting agencies, we have unfortunately been unable to locate Michael to recover his remains. Our foremost hope has always been to recover Michael, but delays now risk further harm to his loved ones. We believe we know the individuals involved and are committed to pursuing justice with or without Michael's recovery. So he has not been found as of now. They did try very hard, and we can get into that later. Okay, the charges are only possible as a result of Fruitland's unyielding tenacity and perseverance. They have not ceased to work the case since the crime occurred, and they are continuing to search and investigate so that they can bring Michael's body home. As Chief Huff has previously stated, it would be foolish to believe Fruitland PD would ever stop in their pursuit of recovering one of the most cherished members of our community, a child, Michael Vaughan. Yeah, and we believe is a very big statement. It really is. We believe we know the individuals. Now, the probable cause has a very low standard when it comes to reasonableness and all of that stuff. If you were watching in the Karen Reed trial, you learned that um, it's a very low standard compared to the evidence and the exhibits that will come in the future. Okay. And whew, just wait and see. Yeah, that's what I'll say. We're going to get there. I would remind the public that anyone accused of a crime by my office is entitled to the presumption of innocence, and it is the office's duty to prove that they are guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law. I would also ask the public and media to be sensitive to how difficult a case like this is to the surviving family members and neighbors, and ask that any efforts to speak with those involved be tempered appropriately. Cases such as these tend to thrust family members into the public eye against their will, and it is my hope that the public will respect their privacy as they weather this difficult process. You can bet your bottom dollar, XOXO Mike Duke, that I will not be reaching out to neighbors. I will not be reaching out to anyone from this probable cause affidavit, and neither should anyone else. No one should reach out to anybody. And so, as a precautionary measure, I did redact the last names of certain people. Okay? For their protection and for my liability to go down on this, right? We don't want people hurt. And there are crazies around this case that will harass folks and have for a very long time. All right. And that will be shown, I'm sure, with the prison calls between people who contacted these suspects. And I'm sure they're watching. All right. So, moving on. I wanted to give you a video that I think is important for the newbies. I know people that have been watching this for a while already knows this, but now that my sound is working, we'll go over this one more time, because a lot of people don't understand why her original charge in regards to Michael Vaughan was dropped. And there were a lot of problems with the probable cause that they had on her when they served a search warrant to the Wondra's home. Stacey was in prison still. Sarah had already gotten out on pretrial release. And so this is something that you need to understand and kind of get yourself caught up on, new or old, here in this case. Because there are problems with, first of all, self-incrimination and how she said it, why she said it. And you're going to get the full potato on that soon. But this is the hearing of the arraignment for Sarah Wondra after being arrested on November 11th, 2022, where shortly thereafter the excavation started. Why did she get served a search warrant at her home? Because Stacey Wondra had called police to tell them to talk to him, and then it ended up being to him, he states it's a false confession after they spoke. From Fruitland Police and Chris McDonough from the Cold Case Foundation. And that was the alleged tip to excavate the backyard back there because of his words. Can y'all hear this? Put a 1 in the chat if you can, please. I see twos. Okay, let me play. Can anyone hear that? No sound? I figured. Okay, hold on. It did this last time, and I don't know why. So we're going to do... Let's try this. What about now?
I need you to move in a little closer to the mic. I'm unable to hear you.
No, I'm Stacey Wondra.
Can you hear that now?
Okay.
Sorry, guys. It'll...
You're Stacey Wondra?
No? Okay. 1 sec.
Yeah, I'm Sarah Wondra, sorry.
You're Sarah.
I hear one. Okay, you hear it now.
Uh,
Finally. Now I know what to do. Yay, I figured it out. We shouldn't have this problem going forward. Thanks, guys. All right. I'm going to shut up and we'll listen to, again, this is the initial hearing for Sarah Wondra, who was charged with failure to report a death of Michael after she was served a search warrant because of Stacey Wondra.
Case of Sarah Wondra.
Excuse me, Your Honor, do you need me for anything else today?
I do not think so. No, thank you very much for your help.
All right, you're welcome.
Are you Sarah Wondra? Ma'am, can you hear me? I need you to move in a little. I'm able to hear you.
No, I'm Stacey Wondra.
Okay. You're Stacey Wondra?
Yeah, I'm Sarah Wondra, sorry.
You're Sarah Wondra. Okay, thank you. Ms. Wondra, in this case, which is CR 38221769, you are charged with having violated the law in one count. It is alleged that you did on or about the 12th day of November of this year, here in the state of Idaho, fail to notify the coroner of a death, the death of Michael Vaughan, with the intent to prevent the discovery of the manner of death. That is a felony here in the state of Idaho. Do you understand the allegation that's been made against you?
I understand what they've said is not correct.
All right. You have a number of rights when you are charged with a crime, and the deputies typically hand out a document that describes those rights in detail. Did you receive a document like that?
They're giving me documents right now.
All right. So in a criminal case, ma'am, you have the right to remain silent as it relates to the underlying charges. You have the right to require the state to prove the charges beyond a reasonable doubt, the right to cross-examine and confront the evidence the state may put on in an effort to prove its case, the right to testify in your own defense if you wish to, the right to use subpoenas to bring witnesses and evidence to the trial as you may determine to be appropriate, and the right to be represented by an attorney at all stages of these proceedings. Do you understand that you have those rights?
I have those rights, but I don't have any reason to be silent because I did nothing wrong.
All right, well, so I'm going to remind you.
Okay, so first things first, you have to understand that she has definite mental illness struggles. And she's also diabetic. And if anybody who struggles with diabetes may have a chance of an increased risk of mental health issues due to the gut to mind ratio. There's a relation there. If your gut's not healthy, sometimes your mental health can be sabotaged by that. And I'm no medical professional nor a legal professional. Do not take my words as science. This is just what I know from reading up on things and having issues, digestive related issues, and learning these things by professionals. So she's struggling here. She's definitely calling herself Stacey when she's Sarah, and she knows this, but she's not all there. She must have had a really rough night being arrested, you know, I would assume. So just have that in your mind. That is all. And also keep it in mind for the probable cause affidavit, because she does go for a mental health evaluation later on.
have the right to remain silent. I'm not going to say anything to you or ask you any questions that are designed to get you to speak about or encourage you to speak about the underlying events. But everyone who gives up that right and does speak about the case or make any statement at all about it, of course, those can be used against you. So I'll remind you of that. As it relates to your right to an attorney, do you intend to ask me to appoint an attorney at public expense? Do you intend to hire your own counsel or represent yourself in this case?
Represent myself? No, get an attorney.
Okay. Do you want me to appoint an attorney to help you at county expense?
I appoint one.
All right, let me have you raise your right hand to be sworn so I can ask you some questions to be sure you qualify. You solemnly swear the testimony that you're about to give me will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Ms. Wondra, what is your current physical address?
Well, I live in Henry, but 1102 Redmond Street, Fruitland, Idaho, 83619.
Now, for the audience, does this look like someone who just got caught knowing or having knowledge of where this child, Michael Vaughan, is? Does it give you the impression of what you would think of if she was in court for this? I thought about that, and if she were a pure evil psychopath, I could see how it wouldn't bother her at all. Do I see that? Personally, no, I don't. But I also know a lot about her background because I get to know people or people around a case, not directly, of course, but figuring out what they might be experiencing instead of assuming, because assuming makes an ass out of you and me. So I really looked into social media, what was going on in the home, who was around, trying to figure out if there was somebody influencing some of this, etc. We don't know exactly what was going on. We don't know her mental health history just as outsiders, so we need to take that into consideration no matter how you feel and no matter what is told to you or fed to you by the masses. And I don't feel like she's a psychopath, and I also don't feel like she is looking like she got caught and she's distraught.
And current telephone number? No, what, scratch that. I'm not going to ask you about that right now. Who is your current employer?
I am for myself, self-employed, taxi driver.
And what is your typical income in a week?
I wouldn't be able to tell you because I don't know the exact amount. I haven't been doing many taxi rides lately.
More or less than $500 a week?
Probably more than 500. I haven't, again, been doing it.
So are you working at all right now?
Well, obviously not if I'm in jail, but I only work day to day.
Right, so I'm just trying to get an idea of what your typical income is. Obviously, when a person's in custody, they can't generate income.
I don't know my exact income.
All right. Do you own any land or buildings anywhere?
I don't own land or buildings.
How much money do you have in the bank or cash on hand?
I think I have some change in my purse.
Do you own any personal property worth more than $1,000?
Alright. Gave everything to the most High God, but I am partially car, but I also don't own the whole thing.
Meaning you owe money against it to someone?
No, I half own it with my dad.
I see. All right, I do find you qualify for the appointment of an attorney. I'm going to appoint in this case Ms. Jolene Maloney. I did review an affidavit of probable cause in this case and do, for purposes of disappearance, find probable cause. What's the state's position, if any, on bond?
Your Honor, the state is asking for a relatively high bond. Obviously, there are implications associated with this charge.
Whoops.
And this is the young boy.
This is Michael Duke, who I just read his statement to the public. I believe it was released on the 31st, I think, Halloween.
That we're talking about has been missing for a year and a half, and so it should be noted that Ms. Wondra is on pretrial release for federal gun charges for felon in possession of a firearm, and so and while that would have happened after Michael Vaughan initially disappeared, I think it shows that she's a danger to the community. And she fails to abide by the social norms that we all expect. And there are obviously very serious implications in her being aware of his whereabouts this whole time. So, $1 million bond.
Ms. Maloney, what presentation would you like to make?
Your Honor, I recognize these are serious allegations. I would ask the court consider the charges as they presently are and how they're articulated within the probable cause affidavit and the absence of certain facts which may create issues with probable cause. I recognize that the court may have some concern regarding release. At this time, however, I would ask that the court consider any electronic monitoring in lieu or in conjunction with a lower bond, less than.
So she said, due to the issues in the probable cause and the issues with the right to not self-incriminate. Okay, you have that amendment to not self-incriminate, and the case law that was put in this charge, when they dismissed this charge later on, after the mental health evaluations were already done, it didn't work. This charge was dropped without prejudice, meaning they can pick it up anytime they want to. I highly, highly doubt they need it at this point, nor do I think that they would ever have brought that back up because of the issues that still would arise, even after seeing the probable cause affidavit. Okay.
$1 million.
All right, in this case, the court, as it does in all cases, of course, takes into account Idaho Criminal 46 and the factors set forth there, specifically problematic as it relates to a release conditions or on Ms. Wandra's own recognizance or her criminal history, which the court was provided as part of the probable cause affidavit, the possibility of violations of law were she to be released, and the inability to necessarily manage those effectively with restrictions on her release. The nature of her criminal history certainly would bring her character and reputation into question or disrepute. Unfortunately, taking those factors into account, the court will set bond in this case in the amount of $500,000. Should that bond be posted, Ms. Wondra must immediately sign up to pretrial release services to be monitored. She must be fitted with a GPS tracking device. Status conference will be at 10 a.m. on the 20th.
Your Honor, defense joins the motion, and I think it's appropriate pursuant to Idaho Court Administrative Rule 32, little I, 2, big E, that this could jeopardize future proceedings given the public nature of this case at this time. So I would ask that the court grant the state's motion.
All right, I've reviewed Idaho Court Administrative Rule 32 I, interest in privacy, that be determined to be appropriate or necessary. So the order will last until it's revisited by this court or some other court. You have any questions about that?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Anything else to take?
So what they do is they get a mental health evaluancy test on her, and they do not see that she is deemed fit to stand any trial. Although it doesn't matter now that the charges are dismissed, which again, they could bring up, probably won't. The problem and the thing to remember about these mental health evaluations, she could not stand to fit her own trial, and needed to work that out for a while. I mean, they kept having to reevaluate her for a good, I want to say 6 months or so, or 4 to 6 months, something like that. And finally, after what was it, 3 or 4 times of the evaluations, she was finally ready to go. But then they dropped it. So that will be important when you see and look at the probable cause. This is why we're going over this stuff that everyone else is like, we've seen this before. It's for the new people and to remember this. It's going to be very crucial. Now, going back really quick, this is another thing that you must know. It's a must. Pulling that map back up for you. And actually, I'll put one up that's blank, kind of like bare minimum, so that you can see from a bird's eye view what you need to know. A lot of this will be looking from the sky down. Okay. But we will be doing map time a little bit. So, again, Michael's home here. Okay, we're going down southwest. Here's Splash Pad, Cornwall Subdivision, Hidden Meadows, and the Bluffs. Michael's home is here. There is where Stacey and Sarah Wondra were living. And again, the 2 roommates were Brandon and Adrian Lucien. Down here is very important. I want you to look right here at the end of Southwest 8th Street. And I know that a lot of people who I don't speak to at all anymore, if they're listening, they're going to be shooketh. Very shooketh. And it's not actually somebody that was directly involved in the sleuthing of this case. It was somebody that was in and out in the Washington area who was very keen on things. And I just want that person to be recognized, and I won't say her name. But this is very important. And if you feel so inclined to let me know once you hear it about this area over the Bluffs, I would love for you to reach out if you want to. I think you're going to want to. I would appreciate it. So again, here's the drainage ditch that comes out of the splash pad. And again, you could jump over here to get wherever you want to go. Very important, again, is this corner here, Meadowlark and Redwing. Meadowlark and Redwing. There is a little park that you could cut through and get to 3 Rivers Way. That's something you need to know. And then Southwest 8th Street, right here where the Bluffs are. I'm going to show you a picture on maps of what that looks like for the newbies. Cryptics, you're a newbie. You're definitely a newbie. And I know that we're going to get together and discuss some of the things when you're ready. But you do need to see what it looks like if you were standing on the road. So let me get that pulled up for you. And for the ones that said, the tricycle's nothing. Oh boy, were they wrong. Now, did I have the right tricycle? I really wasn't trying to have the right tricycle. I just wanted it known that I know. All right. Here is Southwest 8th. If you're looking down here, the splash pad's way down there. Michael's house is over here. This big old field right here, cornfield, is blocking the view. This was taken in September of 2025. This Google Maps. If I go up here a little bit, it'll change where I can look at more dates up the road here. Okay. But for some reason, when we go to Three Rivers, which is such a crucial road, you'll see here shortly, May 2012. Just keep that in your mind. Why didn't Google Maps go down Three Rivers Way? Why? I do not know. You're also going to notice this little sign here that says Hidden Meadows. Thank you for a job well done. I don't know what that means, but this is Hidden Meadows. But you will see a sign that says The Bluffs. This is a very important thing to know, where the location is. It's under this tree here beside the fence of the first house on this corner of Three Rivers and Southwest 8th. Just keep that in mind. So let's go back here. This is technically the Bluffs. You can go right here if you wanted to step on up and trust yourself with your strong ankles that Miss Eve does not have. I would yeet myself off just by sneezing. I'm telling you, I'm clumsy. And die. That's what would happen to me. This area is a very important area to remember when I talk about the probable cause. I know it sounds boring, but trust me. Just keep in mind what this looks like, what it, and it looks probably the same as July of 2021 when Michael went missing. Okay, I would say it looks the same. This area right here with the thorny tree kind of goes over the edge of this cliff right here and onto the road, the side of the road here. Now, what is this road? This road right here that comes off of Southwest 8th goes around, and it's a private drive for the Hinglinger family. They have like this private road that has a building or a house or something. The Hinglingers are produce. They're like the biggest produce wholesaler, I think, in the area. I'm pretty sure. Definitely fruits for sure. I think it's produce too, though. I could be wrong. But anyway, they're very rich and they have a lot of pull and they are well known, okay? And have a lot of land around here, a lot of it. This road right here, basically right about the time you get to the private land sign right here, that is farmland, privately owned farmland that you could take this road down to get to this area down here. Now, the road to Ontario from Fruitland comes across this way, and you can get under the overpass. You definitely can get there where the water is, no problem. If you were sneaky deaky and you wanted to do something nefarious, absolutely, you could walk your happy self down here. It would take you a long time. People would probably see you from the highway, so you'd be goofy. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So we were right here, looking down private road, and then here coming down to this property. All right, there's some buildings right here, and you could take this little road here, or go around here and here to get to the underpass if you wanted to over this way. But that's not really where the water is. This is where the water is, but there's like little tanks and where the water, the irrigation water comes and drains into here so that it doesn't go into the river. All right, so here's the Snake River that comes around the highway here and goes up, and you have the Oregon side and the Idaho side. This is what I'm really interested in, is right here. Right there. You could see whenever you drop your little dude onto the highway what I'm talking about. There's that road right there. See what I'm talking about? Boom. All right. So there's a Snake River, and it goes under this bridge. You can drive under this overpass over here when the water is low enough. Okay, that's important to know. When the water is low enough, you can get back and forth here. A lot of times it isn't, but in the summer, when it's not raining and it's hot, it's low enough. So if you wanted to pull off some tomfoolery here, absolutely possible, depending on the time of the year. All right. Now that's just the one side. We are now on the Oregon side of things. But if I go down here, see how it's all flooded at this point in time? Let me go back. I went too far. Excuse me. Okay, Google Maps, do your thing then. Apparently it did not want me to do that. But if I put my dude here and I go, oh, there it is. See that road? Yep, there you go. And there is the neighborhood on Three Rivers Way. The bluff sign would be here somewhere. And let me go down a little bit. There is the Hinglinger Road that goes down, and here's that building. And right there is Southwest 8th, and it splits, okay? That's where we were just a minute ago. Very important to know. So if you were driving with your binoculars and you saw a child playing, I guess it could be possible, potentially, very small chance, in my opinion, but if you're really looking, maybe that could be a possibility, which has been a theory for a while, but I don't agree. But we're not here to talk about that. I just wanted you to know that is what it looks like from the highway, and there is a little area to, yeah, if you wanted to, let's just say, put things in the river. So, clear as mud, everyone? I'm going to check in with chat before we go on. Do they say why charges were dropped? Even if the mental illness, don't they still have a court case but sent to hospitals? Again, because of probably the state of psychosis, and I'm speculation station because you've asked, I feel, and from what I understand from a very close source, which is family, the shock of it all, of being told and being read a search warrant saying, we have reason to believe that a child was murdered and put in your backyard. She has a high risk of going into a psychotic episode due to her alleged schizophrenia diagnosis, being diabetic, and having really bad numbers at the time, high numbers. I think that had a lot to do with it, in my opinion only. But what Mike Duke said, like I said, was that there were issues with self-incrimination and used case law about a woman originally from Washington who overdosed on drugs willingly on her own accord in a bathroom of a trap house, and the drug dealer ordered 2 people within that home staying there, drug dealers as well, to get rid of her and put her in the Coeur d'Alene Lake, wrapped her up in a tarp and put her in the lake. They charged one of the women with failure to report a death, but that would be self-incrimination. And there's that amendment problem. I think it's 4th or 5th Amendment. And that's why. And that's probably more solid than any other reason. So hopefully that answers your question in the longest way possible. Right. Violated her right to self-incrimination. Long ago, I felt some pervert was watching Michael's house, watching over the fence. Maybe. It's still possible to me. And you'll see why I think that soon. Very soon. We're getting there. Are you thinking of double jeopardy? She can. Double jeopardy is after a jury verdict has been reached of not guilty, right? You must be talking to someone. Okay. Matthew says, hey, Eve, I'm having a folding clothes party with my kids. Man, you actually get your kids to help you? Bless you. Tell me your ways. Show me. Good to see you, love. Glad you're here. Shani, she hasn't read any of the docs yet. I'm getting there. I swear. You have to know these things. I promise you, it will help you understand what the hell is going on here. And the last thing, the absolute last thing before we get into this, these court documents, is something that you need to know about the neighbors. The neighbors right next to the Wondras. So here is Sarah and Stacey Wondra's home that Sarah's mother was letting them stay in. She owns the house and she lives on this street behind them. To the right of the house, looking aerially, but to their left, if you're on the street, is the Starkey's home. Now, the Starkeys have been questioned, and per the mother, Michael Vaughn's mother, Brandy Neal Vaughan, she states that everyone's been vetted in this home. They are RSOs. Okay, the two older Starkeys, Carson Starkey and Dorothy Starkey, they are no longer married now, but they were once married and had charges on them put in, I believe, the 90s and 2000s, something like that. We're not going to get into all of that, but she even states they were cleared, per her knowledge at the time, early on. However, nobody really took that seriously because who can you trust, right? Especially people like that. No matter how you feel about them, that's just, the consensus. That's just how it works. So here's the house, Stacey and Sarah Wondra's house. Brandon and Adrian were staying here. This is the neighbor, Carson Starkey, and his ex-wife would stay here from time to time and also stay in the house with the Wondras when she had maybe issues with Carson or whatever. It doesn't matter. She was kind of in and out, doing her own thing. She was a lone reed, if you will. She liked to go do her own thing. This is what it looked like in 2021. This is Sarah's blue Toyota that you will hear about, Corolla. They went to Nampa that day, meaning Adrian, Brandon, and Sarah. They went in this vehicle to Nampa to do lots of things and come back, I believe, before Stacey Wondra got back in the afternoon. Okay? And there's no Dorothy. I'm just going to be honest with you. She gets caught on camera here. This is the Mercedes that Stacey and Sarah Wondra and Brandon go and leave in the evening to tow back from Brandon's mother's home because he blew a spark plug, allegedly, and they needed to get it back, and it was just the right time for them, I guess, to do it on that day. Okay? That's it. Now we're on to what everyone, I'm sure, has been waiting for. Thank you for giving Michael Vaughan the grace and time for me to explain this because it matters. All right, here we go. I'm going to keep that map up for future reference. Has everybody got your drinks and your, I don't know, anxiety pillow or your anxiety ball? Because it's about to get wicked, but not how you think. Let me make sure I have everything redacted. Yep, this is the redacted part. All right. So the court documents that I received out of pure circumstance, thinking I wasn't going to get them because, first of all, the case numbers are not in my courts, which is the portal for criminal and civil matters, to go check in on, what hearings have been held or going to be held, it's still not, to my knowledge, in my court. So it's obviously sealed and probably will be from public view until Stacey Wondra is extradited from Arizona to Idaho, which I believe is happening any day. I really do. I think he was actually supposed to be, and now he's not until next week. Potentially, allegedly, I'm not sure. So let's look and see if that case number really fast is up, just to make sure I'm not lying to you. Don't want to fib to my audience. And thank you again for being here if you're new. Thank you for hitting that like button too. 25. Yep, it is not available still. Okay, neither is Sarah's and neither are the other two if they're in here. Team Michael, yes, that is always, always and forever. Team Michael. No doubt. I think I just exit off the chat. Hold on, I'm sorry, y'all. I need to see my chatter so that if you have questions, I don't miss it, because I do want to answer them if I can, or, see what you're saying. It's very important to me. And I mean no disrespect to anyone in the family for putting this out here. And matter of fact, if there was anything in here that I feel like would be grotesque in nature, it's just a probable cause affidavit. There's no exhibits, there's no nothing. It's just one complaint for Sarah and Stacey each, one probable cause for each, and then the majority of it, honest to God, is the back and forth between the detainer of Stacey Wondra. So really, this is going to be the biggest thing. We'll go over the other stuff if we have time. So here we go. And actually, I'm going to do one more thing. I am so sorry, guys. Just give me a second. I need to do a border. One sec. Because a lot of people do not like to give credit where credit is due, blatantly, and it's rude. Rude as hell. So I'm going to do that. Put like a fake watermark on it. One moment. Yes, I'm doing it. Yes, I am. Right in the middle. Sorry, guys. All right. Here we go. You ready? Let me just start at the top. In the district of the 3rd Judicial District of the state of Idaho, in and for the county of Payette, Magistrate Division, in the state of Idaho versus Stacey James Wondra. I did block out the case number for now. The probable cause affidavit. There you go. There it is. Actually, that's really annoying. Let's move that down. Okay. I, Detective Juanita Keller, who is the Fruitland Police Department investigator. I believe she has been promoted to lieutenant. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure. That is who wrote this probable cause affidavit. This was filed on June 11th, 2025, and it was, I think, approved on the 25th of June by a judge. The hearing was on the 12th of June via telephone. All right. I, Detective Juanita Keller, the undersigned, being first duly sworn on oath, deposes and says, I am a peace officer employed by the Fruitland Police Department. The defendant is alleged to have committed the following crimes between the dates of approximately July 27th, 2021 through 2025. First degree murder, a felony. Second degree kidnapping, a felony. And then the third charge is destruction of or concealment of evidence, felony. All right. What you need to understand about the third one, I'm pretty sure we all understand that the first degree murder is punishable by death. Not sure if they're going to go with the death penalty, if at all. I don't know. And then second degree kidnapping, I believe, has a hefty 20-something year sentence. We'll look at that, make sure. Let me check in with chat before we really get into this, because I am probably not going to be looking at chat. And again, no one else has covered this. To my knowledge, I am the first one to go over this, so I really appreciate if you'd hit that like button for me and subscribe if you like. Shani, she hasn't read any. Oh, we're good on that. Do they say why charges were dropped? Oh, we already went over that. Team Michael. Oh, yeah, Brandy's friend Juanita. Okay. All right, enough of that. No chat for a while. Okay. These crimes were not committed in my presence. What I certainly hope not. 4, I believe that there is probable cause. I believe that there is probable cause to believe the defendant committed such crimes because of the following facts. Note, you must state the source of all information provided below. State what you observed and what you've learned from someone else, identifying that person. And disclaimer, there could be an updated probable cause affidavit that I'm not aware of. This is just what I received. Okay. I don't know if this is the final one. They can amend it all the way up until trial. So just know that. This is just what was released to me. Just wanted to put that out there. On July 27, 2021, neighbors reported seeing 5-year-old Michael Joseph Vaughan between approximately 6:15 and 6:30 hours. Okay. Neighbors reported seeing Michael between approximately 6:15 and 6:30 in the area of Michael's home and nearby residences on blank and South Arizona in Fruitland. That blank is Southwest 9th. For some reason, they redacted Southwest 9th as a courtesy. I guess that's the rule there. I don't know. I really don't know. Oh, it's because of the victim's residence. There's victims. Okay. But it's been out there for a while. Michael knocked on some of his neighbors' doors, attempting to play with neighbors or in their yards. Michael was told to return home by all of the neighbors he contacted. So let's just recap that one, because that's a big one. Again, between 6:15 and 6:30 in the area of Michael's home and nearby residences, and on Southwest 9th and South Arizona, the corner of his house and road, or excuse me, I'm sorry, the corner of the intersection, which is where the last neighbor is to the left of Michael's home. Michael knocked on some of his neighbors' doors, attempting to play with neighbors or in their yards. Michael was told to return home by all of the neighbors he contacted. So there were neighbors that allegedly Michael did not have any contact with as a person seeing him or acknowledging that they were home and he needed to go home or whatever. There were neighbors that allegedly saw him, acknowledged him, and said, you need to go back home. This has changed. This has changed from many people who have heard what was said, yes, I do have those changes, but I have gone through that so many times that I think that it would be appropriate to go ahead and get through this first and then hop on over to that on another day. Okay? Because that's not really what we're here for at this time right now. Yeah, 6:15, way before the timeline we've been told. I mean, every minute counts, right? So at approximately 1845 to 1850, which is 6:45 to 6:50, right? Tyler Vaughan, the father, noticed his 5-year-old son, Michael, missing from their home on Southwest 9th. Tyler began searching his home and property for Michael. Tyler called 911 to report his son missing at approximately 7:21, and the Fruitland Police Department responded to the area. I think everybody kind of knows that already if you've watched this before. Uh-huh. Yeah. The bike part, Miss Harmony, just hang tight. We'll get there. Just hang tight. And I was crucified for putting the bike stuff out there. You don't know what you're talking about, Eve. Yes. TF I do. Fruitland Police Department and the FBI, along with other local agencies and volunteers, searched for Michael over several weeks and now years. Through interviews, searches, and other corroborating evidence, all of Michael's family and household members have been determined to not have any knowledge of Michael's current location, nor were they involved in Michael's disappearance. So again, through interviews, searches, and other corroborating evidence, all of Michael's family and household members have been determined not to have any knowledge of Michael's current location, nor were they involved in Michael's disappearance. AKA, there is no evidence to suggest that they are involved or anyone has knowledge of where he is or what happened to him. There's no evidence, is what Juanita should have said properly, in my opinion only. Yes, I'm scrutinizing that because I've read probable causes over the years, and you don't just say that. You can't know that, especially after reading this one. So I am a little pissed off at that. Not that they're clearing anyone, or not that Juanita is saying they are determined, but the wording is wrong. It's wrong. There's another way to say it. Okay, all of Michael's neighbors on Southwest 9th Street in Arizona have also been thoroughly investigated, searched, and interviewed, and have been determined by law enforcement to not have any knowledge of or involvement in Michael's disappearance. Okay, sure. The surrounding area was searched extensively, and Michael has never been found. To this day, as of right now. Here we go. This is a big one. All right. Live sent canine teams. All right, everybody. Live sent canine teams searched the surrounding neighborhoods on August 2nd through the 3rd, 2021. This is, 6 days after Michael went missing? So we have the 27th to the 28th, 9th, 30th, 31st, and then August 1st. This is day 6. August 2nd is day 6, and the 3rd is day 7. And most of us know there were searches done with drug tracking dogs, live scent, and cadaver dogs within the first few days. All right. And a Quantico trained dog from the FBI came in. All right. So I guess nothing happened until the second and third. Keep this in your mind, please. Do not go tisk. This date is important because very soon in the next live, this is a big deal. This is a very big deal. And we'll get to it on that live. So using a pair of Michael's shoes for Michael's scent out of approximately 300 homes, canine handlers reported the dogs only showed interest in one house located at blank in Fruitland. This is the home of Stacey and Sarah Wondra. All right. Out of all of the houses, Juanita Keller, Detective Juanita, is saying this is the only home that the canine banshee showed interest in the area. Okay. And then also showing interest in the area of the corner of Meadowlark and Red Wing Street. I'm going to pull that map up, so that you can see what I'm talking about. Here's their house. Here's Meadowlark, Red Wing Street. This is the corner. This is where they meet. So let's look at that on a map. I do have to pause for the map because you need to know, if you're not familiar, what this is about, what it looks like. This was allegedly, per people that were interviewed in relation to this case, was where the walking man was seen. But we will find out very shortly that it may have not been. What is it? Meadowlark Avenue in Fruitland. There we go. So here's Southwest 8 down here, Michael's house here. Boom. Like I said, it's the first entrance to this neighborhood to the right here on South Meadows Avenue from Southwest 8th Street. You could take a right, which is the most logical step to get to this area. Go around up. And here you go. Okay? Just trying to be thorough. Let me put it to September of 2021. How it looks like shortly after Michael went missing. So I would say it's pretty much the same. It's a hot day. This looks like a hot day. What is very important to know about this area is that there are certain walkways that make it easier to get to either entrances to the other subdivision or to the road. But the most important thing is that when you're going down Red Wing to Sarah and Stacey's house, there's a road that goes onto Wood Duck. And that's where all the trees that another owner, not related to the subdivision, they grow trees and then chop them down over time and sell them. I don't even know what trees they are. To be honest with you, I can't remember. And then, oops, sorry, I went too far. So there is where they're saying scent was led to of Michael per using the shoe. And this is their house. All right. Questions before I go? Continue. Love listening to what you talk about on true crime. Thank you, Janet. New member, welcome in. Thank you. If I didn't see it come up, I'm sorry. Or if you already did it, welcome in. And thank you. So let's see if it's Poplar. I don't think that that's even near. Yeah, I don't know. Weird, not even his own or the neighbors' houses. Right. Shani has already pointed out the obvious here. What about where he was at that day? The house. Nothing went to his house. Did she exclude that? Your guess is as good as mine, Shani. The canine showed interest at the intersection and then headed straight to the fence and front door of the Wondra's residence. And I hope this is noted on a report somewhere that's not finagled, that has the metadata showing it was created on the right date, okay? Because we've seen the Karen Reed case, most of us, and that was a shit show. Nothing can be taken for face value anymore. So the first time this happens is on August 2nd and 3rd. Not the 28th or the 30th or the 31st. August 2nd and 3rd. On August 2nd, Canine Banshee tracked scent. This one really gets me, guys. It really does. I have to zoom in because I'm old. Sorry, guys. Hold on. On August 2nd, 2021, Canine Banshee tracked down a scent to a tree over the edge of the bluff off of Southwest 8th and Three Rivers Way. Southwest 8th and Three Rivers. Scent. Right here. Canine Banshee was determined to track the scent into the thorny bushes under the tree. Remember that? Despite the thorns. A discarded child's stroller was located deep in those thorny bushes. Remember that date. Because there's going to be another witness or two that's going to have a version of events. Okay? Whew. All right. 3 days later, on August 5th, 2021, a pink Big Flyer tricycle was located behind the bluff sign at the Three Rivers Way and Southwest 8th Street. During a search of the same area the day prior, the tricycle was not there. Jim Blink, who lives in the Three Rivers subdivision, later reported that he had found the tricycle over the bluff under a tree next to a child's stroller. Reminding you guys that this was after Michael went missing. Okay. They had already picked this up on the 2nd of August. Okay. Live scent tracking dogs tracked Michael's scent to the edge of the bluff. And then on August 5th, a pink Big Flyer tricycle was located behind the bluff sign at Three Rivers Way and Southwest 8th. During a search of that same area the day before, August 4th, the tricycle was not there. So this resident, Jim, later reported that he found the tricycle over the bluff under a tree next to a child's stroller. Jim said he took it home to use one of the wheels for another project, but then discarded it after not removing the wheel as planned. We need to stop right here. I can't tell you how pissed off this made me. You're going to tell me that that's normal? I'm trying not to be too, commentary and everything, but what? I do have to say what the hell on that. I just can't help myself. I can't. What does that mean? So, pulling the map up, going back to, Three Rivers. And let's just say Jim lives in this section here, okay? Jim lives pretty close to Southwest 8th and Three Rivers. He lives in this little section here. Dropping this bad boy to the bluff sign, like I told you earlier. This pink tricycle was right through here behind the bluffs sign, like right back here. Okay. Stroller and, or the stroller was back here in these thorny little bushes, either on this side or that side. I'm pretty sure it's on this one right here, or at least one of the other witnesses you're going to listen to or hear about, rather, will say that. But let me rephrase one more time quickly. Jim said he took it home to use one of the wheels for another project, but then discarded it after not removing the wheel as planned. Jim said he left it behind the bluff sign for the neighborhood kids to use. First things first, he's very considerate about what the neighborhood kids need and want to use. I don't know what his, obviously it doesn't say here that his project was, or what it was for, and why he changed his mind, but nobody cares, right? He didn't need it, he changed his mind, there you go. Clear as mud. I can hear everyone's thoughts buzzing from here, is what it sounds like. I'm going to read chat really quick, but I did exit out, unfortunately, so let me pull it back up. It happens sometimes. Okay, we're back. Who is this Jim dude? It's the first thing I said too, actually. Well, I said some explicit expletives. Sorry. What the fuck? Why is scent being tracked after the first search? Yeah, because it was probably muddled by a lot of people, but it did rain. But we're not going to get into that today. What wouldn't have been surprised by a scooter, but a stroller? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not going to say that I didn't look into seeing this, a stroller and a pink bicycle before. I definitely have, way before this probable cause was ever put in my peepers. And I forgot that I had remembered long ago when I was in a group of fellow ladies who sleuthed this case. Let me show you where I found it, because I'm not ashamed of doing this, nor am I suggesting that this is it, but I have seen it before, or a pink tricycle and a stroller. One moment, and let me pull that up for you. And that might take a minute to load, so I'm going to keep reading until that comes up. So now we're off of Jim and the big flyer tricycle. Now we're on to a lady named Kim. Oh, Kim. When I saw her name, I do know her last name. I did redact this myself. I have questions. Kim blank would later report to law enforcement, and we don't know when later is, that she had seen the tricycle in the Wondras garage, or garage if you are Miss Deborah in Massachusetts, Canton, Massachusetts, during a yard sale in the spring of 2021. Spring of 2021 would be March, April, and May, not June or July. So a witness named Kim would later report to law enforcement that she saw this tricycle, this pink radio flyer trike, in the Wandra's garage during a yard sale in the spring of 2021. Kim was able to describe the layout of the Wandra's garage and where she saw the tricycle on a stack of boxes. If you've seen the leaked footage of Stacey Wondra post-confession, then you would have heard these stack of boxes, all right? You would have heard that. I'm checking new in chat because I see it flying already. Oh, yeah, here we go. Like, wow. Like, wow, indeed. You ain't taking something and then just being like, nah, never mind. Like, yeah, right. Was the stroller and tricycle Michael's? Great, great question. While I'm loading this up, that's the first thing that I thought of, because if a live scent tracking dog, Sir Banshee, is, or ma'am, I don't know, is hitting up scent on this thing, there's only really two options here. The scent matches Michael's because it's from his home, or it's somebody else's and he got a hold of it. But wait, because we're about to get into a neighbor that I just spoke about, and then we'll go from there. And it's one of the biggest oh wow moments. All right, it really is. It's on your screen now. You could probably get a glimpse. Now, back in the day when Chris Medina was covering this case and somehow got involved in the actual investigative process, right? You remember he was at the excavation. He was doing detective work, right? I noticed something. I believe, Miss Rubug, didn't you remind me just a few weeks ago or months ago? And then I told you it was actually June of 2023 that I had this already. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't remember that. So here is one. Now, this is not a pink bike, like a radio flyer one. This one is a Schwinn or a Win. I think aren't they named Schwinn? Let me Google it before I make a fool out of myself. I probably already have. Pink tricycle bike. Schwinn. Isn't that a... Yeah. Yeah, here it is. Roadster. So you see that seat right there? It's a Schwinn Roadster Classic tricycle for toddlers, ages 2 to 4. That's obviously probably little sisters. Okay. I don't know if this is the one. I have no idea. I am not suggesting that it is. This is just what I remember seeing during that interview, and it was odd that it popped out. And the stroller is right here. There's a stroller. I think I have a better picture of it, actually. Let me pull this over here and get that for you. But there is a stroller that has like a pink outline on it. It looked like it matches it. If I can find that quickly, I will bring it up. 1 second. I'll have you take my word for it now, and I will post it later. All right. I am not suggesting again that they are connected, but it is something to ponder over that maybe it was. I don't know. Somebody would have to answer that. That's not me. That's close to Michael. I can't answer that. And maybe they can't because it's, still active investigation in a sense of Michael's remains being found. So I don't know. Should I check in the chat one more time? Why would you take it home and then return it? Great question. Why was Michael's scent tracked down there? And they didn't find the tricycle or stroller until after. Well, remember, everybody was screamed at for the longest time that he was headed east, the opposite way of Southwest 8th and the Bluffs. It was always Washington. I will say the footage that I captured of the searches going on from news, they were very interested in the opposite way and in the dirt road behind the house going towards Northwest 2nd, I believe, or Beatrice. It's one of those. A block away. So it was very interesting to see that Southwest 8th was a very hot area for scent. It still shocks me now. But we're going to get to some more shocking things, and I know y'all probably already read it by now, but let's talk about it. So this Kim, I almost said her last name. I had to stop myself. Saw this tricycle in spring. The described stack of boxes was still there during a later search warrant of the Wondra residence and garage in November of 2022. Now, I do want to mention that the mother, Sarah's mother, who owns the home, lives just the street behind them, and they shared that garage with each other, okay? Both of them. A lot of their stuff was in, and you hear it on the leaked footage of Stacey Wondra from the jail saying they did. They cleaned up a lot while they were in jail because it was disgusting, apparently. Anyway, now comes Dorothy. We talked about Dorothy earlier, so you can figure out it's the next door neighbor to Sarah and Stacey when they lived there at 1102, who had questionable backgrounds. She was present at, I'm assuming, her home there in Fruitland, reported on July 29th, 2021, that she saw Michael riding a big wheel tricycle at the corner of Red Wing and Meadowlark. And we've already gone over that. On July 27th, as she was either entering or leaving the neighborhood, Dorothy is seen on surveillance videos coming into the neighborhood westbound on Southwest 8th Street at 6:25, and then left the neighborhood eastbound on Southwest 8th Street at 7:25. An hour. She's entering the neighborhood at 6:25. Wait, did I get that right? She was either entering or leaving the neighborhood. Dorothy is seen on surveillance videos coming into the neighborhood at 6:25 and left the neighborhood at 7:25. Wow. She's coming in, leaving out. So it's either one of those times, which is highly doubtful that it's the 7:25 if this is even real, if this is reality, because the next sentence kind of gives it away here. If this is true, Michael would have had to have been seen by her at the 6:25 time, okay, riding this pink tricycle way far away from the home, way too far away, okay? This really makes me nervous, this part, like really bad. Yeah. Had to get a drink. Lots of talking. Okay. Other than Dorothy's report, there are no other reports of Michael being seen anywhere other than Southwest 9th Street and his next door neighbor's house on Arizona on the date of his disappearance. Repeating that one. There are no other reports of Michael being seen anywhere other than Southwest 9th Street and his next door neighbor's house, which is what we already knew, but no other reports. This next one really gets me. Video surveillance was gathered from security cameras in the neighborhood Michael disappeared from, as well as neighboring areas. Michael is never seen on any of the surveillance footage that was obtained. Sorry, I keep doing that. Repeat that. Michael was never seen on any of the surveillance footage obtained. What do you think of that? Anybody in chat have a thought? I'm sure you do. Yeah. Remember, it was leaked 908, 906, 908. We're not telling anybody. Yeah. So that one hurt a little bit, stung a little bit. Never seen means he never crossed Southwest 8th. He would have been seen. Too far for a 5-year-old, actually, to be without an adult. Yep. Lot to take in, that one. All right, let's move on. Keep that in mind, though. Stacey Wondra is captured on surveillance footage driving the white Lexus. Okay. And pulling into the parking area of the splash pad in the neighborhood off of Southwest 8th Street at 3:23 hours on July 27th. So Stacey Wondra loves to say that he was there at 1:30. Okay. And maybe he thought that. Maybe he really did. It was a long time ago. So Stacey is seen exiting the driver's door, walking around to the passenger side of the car, and appears to be testing the exterior door handle to see if it is locked. Testing the door handle. Stacey then walked back around the driver's side of the vehicle where he got into the driver's seat and exited the area onto Southwest 8th Street at 3:24, just a minute after. So his story, as we all know and seen on these streets, is that he dropped his can of chew in between the seat on the passenger side and had to get out to grab it because he was a hefty fella, pushing 545 pounds at the time. Sarah was pushing 400 and I believe 30 plus pounds at the same time in July of 2021. Okay? That was his story of events. Anyway. I don't know what that means of walking around the passenger side of the car and appears to be testing the exterior door handle to see if it is locked. Maybe he thought that it wasn't. I don't know. It's weird to word it like that, but maybe somebody else knows what she means by that because I don't. Video surveillance shows an adult male walking in the area of Three Rivers Way at 6:08 hours on July 27th, and the same male is captured walking in the area of the neighborhood splash pad at 6:18 hours. The last image of the male is captured at 6:28 hours as he walked through the wooded area to the west back towards the area in which the Wondras lived, the Treasy area. Let that percolate for just a quick second while I take a drink. All right, I'm back. Brandon Shirtliff was identified in 2022 as being this person. So now we know why the other side kind of knew this already. Sharing details, are we? And told detectives during an interview that the surveillance video captured him as he was walking and searching for a missing child on the date Michael disappeared. The surveillance video captured him as he's walking and searching for a missing child on the date that Michael disappeared. This video captured Brandon walking prior to Michael being reported missing. Brandon reported he was living with the Wondras at that date. I have my input on this that I do want to say really quickly. It's just mine, not anyone else's. And it's alleged. Kind of. This statement from Juanita Keller of the Fruitland Police Department is saying there is a video surveillance footage that shows an adult male walking in Three Rivers Way, okay, at 6:08, and then captured walking at the splash pad 10 minutes later. And then the last image of this male is captured at 6:28, 10 more minutes later, as he walks to the Treasy area that goes back to the Wandra's home. Now, this is big. Big, big, big. Because we're not sure who else went back there at what time, but we do have statements and we do have a lot of other things out here in the streets that y'all probably know about that you would think that would be them then, right? Well, we don't know the metadata. We don't know who is where at what time, meaning others. And that would be definitely refuted in a court of law because it's out there, baby. It's out there. That recording of the Treasy area and the father have been out there for quite a hot minute. And that's going to be a tough one, depending on what the metadata shows, if it shows anything. Right? And that is something that, I can't answer definitively for you all. I shouldn't anyway, if I knew. But this has been a thorn in everyone's backside watching this case unfold over time. So let's look at the walking man. Let's look at the walking man. I do have better images, but we're going to look at what Fruitland PD gave us, which was doo-doo. They were offered help to make these images better for people who were trying to help. Yeah. But no go. All right, here we go. They're saying that is Brandon Shirtliff. That right there. If you think, and this is just, I just want to know what you think. Do you think this one right here could be, this first image could be Brandon Shirtliff? Put a 1 in the chat if you think it's Brandon Shirtliff. If you do not believe that it's Brandon Shirtliff, put a 2. If you're not sure, don't worry about it. Don't put anything. We are wanting to know if you think it's Brandon or not. If it's Brandon, put a 1. If it's not Brandon, put a 2. And we're going to count them because this is hard to, you would have to really know and have other footage showing, which they do say they have other footage. So I'm going to count them. Don't be shy. I really want to know. I'm very interested. I think everybody's kind of interested what each other is thinking right now. A lot of people did. And he did. He did. He admitted that he walked to the drainage ditch and the treesy area. But where he exited was the $1 million question, or $64,000 question. Was it wood duck or was it cornwall? And when was it? How does the surveillance video know he was searching for a child? No, they don't know that, Turtle. That's all the other circumstantial evidence you're about to see. In my opinion, Michael was missing for almost an hour, almost. So we have one, Jackie, and nobody that's said anything. Glad that you're speaking up, though. Thank you. 1, 2. Versus Miss Rubeg. 2, 2, 2, 2. You're outnumbered already. I'm going to go ahead and put 2 here. Actually, absolutely not. Brandon is thicker in the like his upper body from the pictures I've seen roughly around that time on Facebook and his Instagram before it got shut down a little bit. His arms are thicker than that. Like way thicker than this dude's. To me. At 6:30 was Michael reported missing? Even no. Michael was reported missing at 7:21. It was being told to everyone that it was 7:10. Well, it was 7:05, 7:04, and 7:10, and then that all kind of got jumbled, but I definitely remember 7:10. And that was wrong. It was proven wrong by ladies, a group of ladies that requested that time on the call logs from Payette. 7:21. Yep. Juanita is saying that 6:15 he went missing. Yeah. But Tyler did not realize he went missing until, roughly around 6:45. We'll average it out. So that's still 45 minutes roughly. Or more. Before calling 911. Did Brandon have a goatee? This man seems to have one. I agree with you. Could it be a mask? At 103 degrees at that time? Bless you, honey. Whoever has that. A mask on. But, yeah, that looks like a goatee for sure. For sure. Now, I, for the longest time, thought these two people were different people. Because they do look a little weird. This one looks a little tall and lanky. This one looks a little shorter and fatter. But because of the way that they landscaped this, I think it was very intentional, to be honest with you, to confuse the ever-loving shit out of everyone. It's hard to say. It's playing tricks on my eyes, I think, in my opinion. So they're saying, meaning Juanita, detectives are saying that he was identified as the walking man, Brandon Shurtleff was. So I don't know how they could do that if they didn't know for the longest, right? How do they connect the dots that it was in fact him? We haven't seen the full footage, so we're not going to know. But after being told that he was identified, which police can lie to you guys, he told detectives during an interview that the surveillance video captured him as he was walking and searching for a missing child on that date that Michael disappeared. So he's probably thinking, and this is just me speculating, first of all, either he's totally knows it is him and he's lying, or 2, he's like, if that's me on the camera, cool, but I was searching for a child. That would be the only reason I was walking out and about. Those are the only 2 options. So which is it? And how can you prove his identity being the walking man when there were others that say that they were walking too? It's going to be a big one to battle. This video captured Brandon walking prior Sorry about that. This video captured Brandon walking prior to Michael being reported missing, and Brandon reported he was living at the Wondras on that date. I don't know how that's relevant. Whatever. On August 1st, so now we're back to August 1st. This probable cause is giving me not only heartburn, but the way that we're bouncing dates is just like, we're talking about Stacey on camera footage and then the walking man. We just jump right on over from Dorothy seeing Michael allegedly at Meadowlark and Red Wing to, okay, now the suspects are over here on this time doing this and that. Turtle Dove says he may have heard the commotion, and could have bumped into Tyler looking for Michael. My God, no kidding. Are we going to sit here and act like that hasn't been out there forever? You're right. And maybe at some point the police weren't sure who maybe the second walking man was. And they looked so similar from afar on one camera versus the other that they were trying to figure out who this other person was. Because they were definitely investigating everyone, including the family members, including the dad. So maybe they were confused as hell, as I am right now. Maybe. Yeah, it's not a good report. I would say it to her face. I'll tell you that. She's probably having a blast listening to my phone calls with Sir Stacey. Have fun. Okay, August 1st, 2021. Fruitland Police contacted the residents. I'm assuming 1102 Red Wing in Fruitland. On their initial search for of the residents, they located Adrian Lusheen hiding in a closet. Okay. I will say, if that's true, we know how people like to over-exaggerate over there. If that's true, that is sus. That is a little sus. I give credit where credit is due, and that is giving sus. Why are you hiding? What are you hiding from? Well, to be fair, he did have warrants in other places. And Fruitland Police probably, as a black man in Idaho, I wouldn't be too fond of getting him up there to be extradited. Okay, I get it. But that is sus, no matter what. Ruby Rose reported at that time, older sister never saw him. She was home at 4 to 5:30. Yeah, we will go over that one day. Not today, though, but I'm with you, Ruby. I'm with you, Ruby. Okay. Residents of the home on that date and on July 27th were identified as married couple Stacey and Sarah Wondra and their sublets Brandon Shirtliff and Adrian Lucian. All four were interviewed on August 1st. They were interviewed the day before. Remember this. They were interviewed the day before the live scent just so happens to be tracked to the front door of Stacey and Sarah's home and the fence line from Meadowlark and Red Wing. Why not the first day or the second day or the third day or the fourth day or the fifth day? Why the sixth and seventh day? Who was around Michael that could have been over in that area maybe that had his scent on him? Were there people handing out flyers? Were there people that were in the home of Michael who were supporting the family and then going to the neighborhood to help search? Did his scent somehow get on them? Does it work that way? Okay. Again, August 1st, they're interviewed. At that point, they didn't even know this information. Right? Keep that in mind. Don't jump to conclusions, right? Adrian was vague in his statements and wouldn't commit to a solid statement. He also refused to provide his social security number, I don't blame you, for identification confirmation. He proved Stacey's phone number as his own and concealed his real phone number from law enforcement. On August 21st, Sarah reported that on July 27th, she and Stacey slept until noon. Okay. August 21st, she reported this. Okay. Sarah said they left their residence at around 5 o'clock to tow a vehicle to Cuna. Sarah and Stacey denied they were home around 6:30 hours on July 27th. They denied it. Cell phone tower data and surveillance footage show Sarah, Stacey, Adrian, and Brandon were in the area of the neighborhood at the time of Michael's disappearance. Okay, so that would be what again? Are we going to 6:15 or what they said in the news? We're going with Juanita's statement. He went missing around 6:15. Okay, onward. So what time do they say? Sarah, Adrian, and Brandon returned to Fruitland, verified by surveillance, in Sarah's blue Toyota Corolla at 5:08. Oh! So it seems like Sarah is confusing or conflicting Nampa and Cuna, returning from Nampa and leaving for Cuna. Right? Maybe. I don't know. Or maybe it's suspicious. I don't know. Maybe Brandon set up the Wondras. I don't think so. If he was Tyler's dealer and Monkey got into something, he sold to you. I mean, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I'm with you. Like you're, you say what we're all thinking, but it's a little too early. Just hang tight. Right, I'm with you. So verified by surveillance, Sarah's blue Toyota Corolla comes in at 5:08, only to leave again at 5:12. The Toyota then comes back into the neighborhood again at 5:56. So where the hell are they going? Where did they go? Is this where they were supposed to go get milk? Is this where they were supposed to go get whatever else? Because by the time they're coming back, allegedly from Nampa at 5:08, leaving for, let's see, 4 minutes, and then leaving the neighborhood, or coming back into the neighborhood rather, let's say 34 minutes later, or 44 minutes later. 44 minutes later. Where did they go? It would be interesting to see if they verified where they went. Surveillance footage shows Sarah driving the maroon GMC pickup on July 27th as she drove out of the neighborhood at 7:08 hours. Stacey had been identified as the front passenger, and Brandon was the driver's side rear passenger, as they stated many times. Okay, Sarah, Stacey, and Brandon phone data showed that they were co-located as they left the neighborhood at 7:08 hours and drove to Cuna. So it sounds to me like, now that I'm thinking of it, Stacey is remembering this 5:30 timestamp that the police showed him. Brandy already knew about the 7:08 before charges were even brought. That is odd. How is that even legal? But cool. We know 7:08 is what is in the probable cause. Is he thinking that when he came back into the neighborhood for the last time before the Cuna tow was when he left, like Sarah did? Or are they being suspicious? We don't know. We'll see. Adrian's phone did not provide any location data during that day. However, Adrian took a selfie photo in the guest bathroom at the Wonders residence. Interesting. Let me take a selfie, he says. So we know that he is at the home right as Dorothy the neighbor is coming in the neighborhood. Very interesting. Wondra's maroon GMC pickup truck is captured on surveillance footage returning to their Fruitland neighborhood at 11:22. What? That's new. Pulling or towing a silver Mercedes. Now, I do have the 2 recordings that Stacey Wondra sent me of his shared Google Drive or map shared folder with with Sarah. You cannot edit that once you share it and it's locked. There is, if the dummies over there at Clutch My Balls would just take a look at one of those recordings you got that I have, if you just look at the top and it says locked, that means it cannot be changed, especially if Sarah's phone is an Android, which it was, and he was using a iPhone. It is not disputable. It is not debunked. Stop it. Stop it. Do not keep shaming yourself like this. Okay. Following Michael's disappearance, Sarah had a distinct change in behavior. Following Michael's disappearance, Sarah began to stand along the highway near Love's gas station in Ontario, Oregon, with signs stating to repent of your sins and the end of the time was near. Lord Sarah, Lord help this woman. She is out at the Love's gas station in Ontario saying, repent for your sins, ma'am, and that the end of the time was near. I have seen at least a handful of those, I don't know, in the last week, because of the cuckoo crazy COVID times that have made everyone kind of go off the deep end. I've seen that recently. I don't see that I think that she needs mental help. But why is that a thing? Like, what does that have to do with Michael? I guess circumstantial evidence can include mental weirdness before that even was a thing. I don't know. I'm just not understanding it. And I think that this is weaponizing mental health illness. Nico, hi. Kaylee in person, hearts. Good to see you. Yeah. Wait, so they didn't get back from towing until 11:30 p.m.? Yeah, they went to Cuna. And again, I have that recording showing where he was. Where they were. If I have it right here, I'll just pull it up really quickly and show you. If I can find it fast, though. I think this is it, right? I might have it here. I do. Let's do it. Let's just take a look-see. It's going to take a second to load. So I'll keep reading until then. We'll just take a little look-see about where he was at certain times. He was in Eagle, Idaho at 9:47. I know that for a fact. For a fact. So there's that. It makes sense. And that's what I was saying in my videos, that I can't prove it like metadata-wise, but if Stacey and all of them are in the GMC truck at 9:47, it doesn't matter because they're way far away from the crime scene. You would think that the scent would have tracked Michael out of the neighborhood, at least towards Southwest 8th, not Washington, Southwest 8th, right? For those who know. I don't get it. I don't understand. All right. Sarah's social media post on TikTok and Facebook also changed drastically to religion and asking for forgiveness of her sins. That is a freaking lie. I will tell you right now, she has been this way before Michael went missing. I don't know where Juanita failed to search the other accounts, but I have stuff from 2018. So what is she talking about? And she's specifically talking about the same kind of thing as in 2021. So I don't know where she's getting this, but this is wrong, in my opinion only. So prior to Michael's abduction, Sarah had posted only 11 videos on the TikTok over 3 years. No, she had a new account, obviously. Following Michael's abduction, Sarah posted approximately 330 videos from September 15th to December 24th. I'm really struggling with this lady. I have no respect. Could somebody have been put away for a while? Could somebody have been put away where they don't get TikTok access? Check into that, maybe. So again, Juanita is saying here that she has odd behavior due to TikTok videos. Posting too much one time, not enough previously. Okay. She did make a testimony, and I went over this testimony to many other ladies too. And I thought it was powerful as fuck, but apparently it's suspicious. But she states in there that she had broken all 10 of the 10 commandments. It should be noted that thou shalt not kill is one of the 10 commandments. I need to pull that TikTok up because that's a fucking lie. She said, well, not murder. She said specifically, well, not murder. Didn't she? Forgot to put that in there? Don't lie. Sarah also alleged in her videos that it did not matter what sins she had committed because God had forgiven her for all of them. Michael's missing person flyer can be seen on her refrigerator in the background on some of her videos. Oh my God. Guilty. Lock her up. She had, just like Richard Allen had the flyers of Abby and Libby on his whatever. Guilty. That's where that whole shit came from, by the way. They're using what Richard Allen, that situation created, and the Lauren Mathias bullshit. They're using it in Michael's case, and it's disgusting. Like, wow. Shame. Shame, shame, shame. Like, that's just how I feel. That one really heats me up. I can't help it. That should not, in my opinion, be worthy of circumstantial evidence. But I am an asshole on the internet, so who am I, right? I don't have a badge and power. Sarah was interviewed again by law enforcement on November 15th, 2021. Stacey was also interviewed. Okay, so jump to August. Let's go back up just a second and remind ourselves that all 4 of them were interviewed on August 1st, okay, for the first time. And then you scroll down here, excuse me, and the next time, what was it, August 4th? Sorry, I'm reading really fast. I think it was August. I think it's further down, actually. But let me go back up and just make sure. I could be wrong. We need to know, like, the timeline of when they were interviewed. Okay, they weren't interviewed yet. Okay. That was the first one, August 1st, all 4. And then we're jumping to August 22nd, or 1st. There it is. August 21st, Sarah and Stacey came in. I know this story. This is alleged. Sarah and Stacey come in to talk to them per the request of Juanita. Jay what's her name? PJ Vision, Dolly Vision's girlfriend. I think her name is Ivy or some stupid shit like that on Facebook for uh, harassment reasons. But anyway, he and she both told me that the theories that Juanita was already coming up with at that time were bananas. And I think she called her something like a crazy story lady, writer lady. And I thought that was funny because, yeah, I could see that. I could see that. So let's go down. Yeah, I don't believe Brandon and Adrian were at that 821 interview. So now we're jumping to November 15th. Sarah is interviewed rather again. And Stacey. So jump from 8/21/2021 to 11/15/2021. Sarah was interviewed again with Stacey. After being confronted with the photo of her leaving the neighborhood, driving the GMC pickup at 7:08. Sarah changed her story and said she was driving that GMC to get to Brandon's Mercedes from Cuna to tow it back. Sarah said the trip to Cuna to get the car had not been previously planned, and it was Stacey who wanted to go get that car at the time and date. Sarah said she stopped at Southwest 8th in South Arizona on the way out of the neighborhood to input the address into the GPS. Okay, cool. I don't see anything wrong with this, but you're about to see some doo-doo. You're about to see somebody blame them for wanting to put GPS in the car when said person is right back there that lives simultaneously in Cuna. It's bullshit. Spiritual psychosis. Yes, innocent. That's a perfect way to put it. I love you too, Ruby. And they took a slower route back. Yeah. Okay, thanks. Wondering if she ever talked about the missing kids too. Well, she really hated abortion, if you want to know. I've watched her TikToks extensively multiple times. I have witnesses that know that I have. And I can tell you that she is very, in my opinion, very anti any harm of a child at all. Right, Turtle? Yeah, the flyers. Brandy admitted, I think on Crime Lines and Lies and a few others, that she did leave 3 or 4 or flyers every time she came by that house, 3 or 4 different times. And I wonder if she was asked about that and when. No kidding. Do not. Don't say that. Please hang missing flyers out. Just cover your ass, I guess, before you do that. Did they ever find any CP on any of their devices? It's not in here. And whoever said Adrian was a trafficker of humans and little humans, there's no proof of that. And that's a lie. Janet, thank you for the $1.99 super sticker. Much love to you. Thank you so much. Yeah, they did. So that's probably why the dog hit. Brandy was there a few times. And that, that's not meaning anything nefarious because it's a live scent tracking dog. Scent particles land and they get swept up. The boy lived there with his mother. I'm not saying that that's nefarious, but maybe, just maybe, that scent was a mixture. And I don't know why Brandy would be in the fence area, but maybe she cut through the yard on her way to the other side of I don't know. It doesn't have to be nefarious. You don't have to blame or put any, what's the word, suspicion on her for being, a mom putting the flyers on people's doors. But it does explain a lot to me, right? We'll have to see when she was there. Transfer sent. I mean, scent lands, particles land, and then they get, for instance, wind can pick them up and carry them on. Water droplets can actually enhance scent particles. It's actually really good for them. It's the heat that kills them. Thank you, Carla. Thank you. I think that I'm making sense here. This is why we don't crucify people without the facts, right? Right? Sarah said she drove, excuse me, to 2518 North Snowbell. I should have redacted that. I'm so sorry. In Cuna, which is Brandon's mother's home. I think everybody pretty much knows it, but do not attack these people, please. So who went there? Oh, Sarah drove. After putting the GPS in, she drove to Brandon's, putting that in the I don't even know if it was like Google Maps or something. That'd be interesting to see. It was worth noting Brandon was in the truck with them when they entered the GPS coordinates to go to Brandon's mother's house, and that Sarah and Brandon's cell phone data show them at the residence earlier that day. Juanita. That was from Nampa. This is different. It's from Fruitland that she's driving to. Ma'am. That's not suspicious to me. Reaching for the fucking stars, dude. In my opinion only. Maybe it's hella suspicious. Maybe I'm stupid. I don't know. I put my own damn GPS stuff in because if I'm in an area that I'm not sure how the hell to get out of, even if I've been there before, I'm going to make sure. Because your girl Eve has ADHD and time management problems. Okay? I do it every time. And I'm a grown-ass woman. All right? All right, so Sarah and Brandon's mother was out of town. Sarah said that Tina did not allow Brandon to have people in her home when she was not there. So Sarah and Stacey parked down the road, and Brandon used a back gate on the south side to enter Tina's residence so that her doorbell camera did not capture him there. Well, it wasn't working, I don't think, but oh well. Sarah reported that while towing the car back to Fruitland, the tow strap broke. Sarah and Stacey Wondra sold their phones, lost or sold their vehicles, and got rid of their furniture. Oh boy. Please do not tell me, Mother of Pearl, please do not tell me that these are from the YouTube interviews. Oh, I bet it is, because we know about the YouTube membership that was purchased to watch the suspects and others, right? So that's probably exactly where it came from, on fucking YouTube. Excuse my language. It slips out sometimes. I'm trying to be better about it. I'm late. This will be what I replay at work tomorrow. Perfect. Good to see you, Chris. Hope you're doing well. I think Clutch My Cash App put that address out already. Clutch My Balls, aka Clutch My Cash App, aka Justin. That is the best name. Also, GPS data is real. And honey, don't you want them to put that in there? I mean, that's literally tracking them. And you're complaining about it and making it suspicious here. What the hell is wrong with the world? I don't get it. They did. Yeah, they had to replace their phones, I think, quite a few times. So, yeah. I don't know. Sarah was asked about changing her phones following Michael's abduction. Sarah provided 2 reasons, guys. Sarah said they sold their phones because she and Stacey were splitting up. And Sarah said they sold their phones because a demon told her to. Lord have mercy. Sarah was still paying on the phones that she sold. Sarah was asked about her Facebook post and provided the following responses. I literally had like a demon tell me that I need to leave my husband. I literally deleted all of my pictures. I have no idea of what my passwords are. We had a fight. My husband and I had to sell our phones, and we had to get new phones because you took them. Fruitland, you took them. Duh. They took them early on. And we had to get new phones, and I can't access any of my stuff. So I do have Facebook, just don't have access to it right now. When asked about the vehicle Sarah and Stacey have, Sarah said the GMC pickup was repossessed. And probably possessed by a demon, right? Sarah said she told Stacey when they heard the repo guys were coming to take the truck, we are going to be the nicest repo they've ever had today. What? Law enforcement was later told that the truck appeared to have been thoroughly cleaned prior to the repo. Oh my God. They cleaned it out because they knew the shit was about to get repossessed. You want to get your stuff out, don't you? At least the nicest thing you can do is get your shit out of there. I heard it was dirty. Okay, I heard it was very dirty. Ruby says, I'm not saying Brandon came up with the idea to frame the Wondras alone, but think. Until suspects got named, everyone was suspecting the parents. This solved that. Maybe. I'm not sure about that. Woohoo! Welcome in. The flyer was left at the front door when Brandy was out searching. Yeah, but it wasn't until the first that the set of flyers were, first of all, made and put on doors. You know? So it wasn't the day they were missing, right? Unless I'm not tracking correctly. Following the interview on November 15th of that year, Brandon reported Sarah and Stacey contacted him and told him that they were re-interviewing about Michael's abduction. Brandon and Stacey suggested that Brandon come over to their place and create an alibi or write a letter on behalf of Sarah and Stacey, saying that they were not involved in Michael's abduction. Tina, which is Brandon's mother, who the other asshats over there have already blasted her name out, including the news, was interviewed by law enforcement. Brandon's mother, Tina, reported that Brandon's behavior changed after living with the Wondras. Tina explained that Brandon became more depressed and withdrawn, spending more time playing video games and smoking marijuana. Tina would not tell law enforcement where Brandon was or what his phone number was at the time. Right. Do your own damn work, detective work, and go get it yourself. I get it. Sarah's mother, Kay, was interviewed and shown a picture of the tricycle described above. Okay, so I know it's been like almost 2.5 hours. Remember the tricycle information that we went over? You know, I showed you the Schwinn trike in the garage of at Michael's home. I did show you that, and if you didn't see it or came in late, I will show you what I found. And again, this does not mean anything at all, except I noticed this and others noticed this long ago. And it was something that I remembered seeing. So earlier in this live, we talked about the oddities of this damn tricycle, pink tricycle, being at the end of Southwest 8th into the bluffs where the thorny trees and the bushes, right? Where the scent of Michael was tracked. And this is in the garage, and there's a stroller right here. Yeah. All right. Where are we at? Okay, yeah, here we go. Kay Ramsey, Sarah's mother, was interviewed and shown a picture of the tricycle described above. Kay claimed she found the tricycle in some bushes prior to Michael's abduction. Are you hearing that or seeing this? She also found the tricycle in some bushes prior to Michael's abduction. Wow. Lots of people have touched this damn tricycle. I don't know if this is true or not. I mean, she seems to believe this. But it was prior to Michael's abduction, which would corroborate with somebody seeing a tricycle in the garage in spring. And who the hell knows why? I think I heard once that it was a community garage garage sale, and they would sell these things that were collected by others that didn't need stuff. I mean, she kind of was a pack rat. Sarah was. But who knows? Maybe Kay didn't realize she grabbed it from a long time ago and said, sell this thing, and nobody sold it. Who knows? Who knows? But what she is stating here is that she saw this damn thing on her nightly and morning walk with her husband down that area of Southwest 8th and the Bluffs prior to his abduction. The bushes that Kay described are near where Jim found the tricycle just after Michael's abduction. Kay said that would be the reason her DNA would be on the tricycle. Makes sense to me. Kay said that after all of that effort, she left that tricycle at the intersection of Three Rivers Way and Southwest 8th. Kay was 73 years old in July of 2021, and the bushes were very difficult to get to. Thoughts in the chat? Anyone? Anyone at all? I would like to know your thoughts on that. Really would. Before I continue, I need a drink of water really quickly. We're getting there. We are getting close. Okay. Ellie, there's more tentacles to this story than a whole family of octopuses. Agreed. And I'm really concerned that this might not be, the finality or a final probable cause affidavit, because if this is bringing tears to papers in January of 2025, more than questions, I don't know. But I am also not in the shoes of others, and I can't really say. Like, that's not my place to say either. But you're right. This thing is strange indeed, And I have a hard time grasping this so far. Did the Wondras neighbor call it in that a tricycle was seen in the garage of the Wondras? No, that was a woman named Kim. And I don't know when she reported it, but I'm pretty sure it would have had to have been later. Maybe after the leaked footage, perhaps? I don't know. Didn't say. Ain't no way. Right. Well, somebody's lying. Mm-hmm. Right? It's a 7-layer burrito deep. Y'all are funny. Okay. Let's get this going. Kay Ramsey also confirmed to law enforcement that Sarah and Stacey's dog dug holes in the backyard of the Red Wing residence. Kay reported the dog had dug up what she later determined to be the ear of a green stuffed animal. Now, before you gasp, before you go, oh no, you need to wait. It's very explainable, okay? Don't get too hopped up on this. Kay said she had thrown away the stuffed ear. Kay Ramsey is alleged to have this pisses me straight off. Juanita, girl, don't even go there with me. This is Tanner Butler dog bone looking ass territory here. It's very important. You listen. Kay is alleged to have, excuse me, withheld information and or evidence in the other criminal investigations involving Sarah in 2022. Then, Kay initially concealed a firearm, you bitch, used in an aggravated assault in which Sarah was later convicted. She's really trying to... Should I, guys? Are we going to go into Tanner Butler dog bone looking ass territory? Or do we need to continue going forward? And we'll do that another day. Lord help me with this lady. Dog. I thought I was done with Tanner, you know. I guess not. We'll see how it goes. See what the chat says. Okay, I'm not getting any responses, so I'm just going to keep going. When law enforcement met with Sarah on October 12th, so here's another date. This is prior to the excavation and talking to Stacey on the 12th and prior of November. This is prior to that excavation. Very important date. Sarah said God told her he was going to help her find the boy. During the interview, at the first mention of Michael, Sarah became emotional and broke down crying in front of the detective. Sarah wrote a testimony and said that if law enforcement read it, they would locate Michael. No, she didn't. No, she didn't. I don't believe that. That testimony of TikTok, if that's what she's trying to reference, oh, no, she did not. No, she didn't. Sarah suggested God had forgiven Hitler for his sins and that God had redeemed Sarah for her sins. Oh, my God. This sounds like a fiction novel from 1930s cowboy western era. This is fiction. It has to be. Or very misconstrued. Good God Almighty. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, peeps, and it's going to sound like that, and some people are going to take it that way. But I have been balls deep in this case for a very long time, especially these people, without them even knowing who I am. Okay? I knew a lot more than they did about themselves, okay? And who was harassing them in September. Bitch, you know who it is. You know, you're listening right now. And she is obviously mentally unwell here. Obviously off of her medication as a schizophrenic, allegedly. Okay? God forbid if you have somebody in your life who struggles with mental illness or, you know, it has autism, who is not the norm of society, but who are good people, maybe get themselves into trouble here and there. God forbid you have that. You're at high risk, my friend. So here's Christy. Christy comes in out of nowhere. This is Sarah's adoptive mother from way long ago, I believe. Christy Blank told detectives prior to Sarah's arrest that was in April of 2022, excuse me. She made a statement about Stacey being involved in the abduction of a 5-year-old boy. Christy said that she made personal notes of their conversation. In June of 2022, there was a recorded jail phone call. They were monitoring her phone calls. And this was between Sarah and Christy, where Sarah advised Stacey had been arrested. Christy asked if he had been charged with kidnapping of a 5-year-old boy. Sarah recanted her prior statements, claiming that Christy misunderstood her prior comments. Also mentioned was how Sarah's dog was digging large holes in the backyard. So were they multiple large holes? Was it a weenie dog, as we call them? A dash hound? A wiener schnitzel? They dig. You know they dig, right? A lot. A lot. They like to dig their toys and put them in there and cover them up like squirrels. Did anybody know that about weenie dogs? Let's look up if they dig or not. Look at this cute little... There you go. Anybody watching? They love to dig. They are bred to dig holes the size of 4 of them. That's what they do. Okay. It was a dog bone that Sarah was trying to hide because that was evidence of whacking Tanner Butler in the back of the ear. Little scratch, and he went wah wah. It hurt. It hurt. She's crazy. Even though I'm belligerently drunk and pissed her off, which no reason to assault somebody, but still. Man up and sack it up, Betty. Jesus Christ. Let's continue watching this really quickly. It's so cute. No! Well, that made my night. What about you? Anybody? That was adorable. They dig holes. They do it. It's annoying, actually, how much they do it. They were bred for it. To get, what? Foxes. Trying to get Foxy Loxy out of there. Yep, I have a Chewini, and he's always trying to bury his food. That's what they do, yeah. It was reported by Stacey that the dog dug holes that leaves anomalies. Right. That's just part of it. Courtney shook. I have a mini wiener dog. She has huge holes in my backyard. I'm not crazy, so y'all are corroborating my story. But in Fruitland, it's different. In the Hidden Meadow subdivision, it's different. Because Stacey Wondra. Okay? That's what we're getting here. Let me put back my annoying little... There we go. On November 5th of 2022, so here's another interview before the excavation. Right after midnight, almost 1 o'clock in the morning, Stacey contacted Fruitland Police and requested an interview at the Washington County Jail. Stacey provided vague details about events surrounding Michael's abduction, and Stacey and Sarah's religious beliefs and behaviors change started within a couple of days after Michael's abduction. Okay. After Stacey's arrest for an unrelated incident, the federal gun charge, Stacey spoke of changing phones and or SIM cards to prevent law enforcement to follow or profile him. Well, let's see who did that. Real quick. Little did they know at the time, people were harassing both of them from a group that need not be mentioned at this moment, but I'm pretty sure you could connect the damn dots. Okay. And including Tyler Vaughan's sister, who always felt like the babysitter was the one that had to have had something to do with Michael. And Stacey shared that beautiful boy's picture to help get his face out there. But because it was connected to the babysitter who took that original photo, guilty, suspicious, you're on the radar. Now, to be fair, they were always aware. Fruitland PD was always aware of these folks. But don't get it twisted. The family did too. And as they probably should, because, or shouldn't, maybe they shouldn't know every investigative detail out there, cleared or not, because this kind of stuff happens, is shenanigans. But the babysitter ironically got a call from Miss Juanita herself saying, "Why did you give this photo to Stacey Wondra?" And she said, "I didn't. He, like everyone else, copied and pasted and forwarded my Michael's photo to share to get the word out." Okay. And that was suspicious. That was because it was the babysitter who loved Michael and still does. He took care of him very well. Stacey was already, under the radar. So I could understand a little bit getting the heat already before even being named or even anything, feeling the pressure. Maybe that was why. And there are police reports to corroborate what I'm saying now, even though what I'm saying is hypothetical, guys. Just know that, okay? And we are going to wrap it up pretty quickly, so I'm going to have to bum rush this thing. Thank you, Mr. Eve. He says, "Thank you all for supporting my beautiful wife and family." Thank you. So again, we just read that. Changing phones because the police will not stop getting up your ass. I get it. But it could also be suspicious. I'm going to be even Steven on that. On November 10th, 2022, 5 days later, the day before the search warrant was given to, or was executed onto the house where Sarah was at, eating her Cheetos, literally, Stacey again asked to speak with Fruitland Police detectives. Now, what is Stacey up to? What is he doing? Stacey wanted a deal. Remember when I told you this? I have never spoken to Stacey before, and I could tell by the motions in the docket, the federal docket, that he was trying to work something out, and I could not understand why, which made him look suspicious. But let's keep reading. The same offer that was given to Sarah in Michael's case. What offer? What offer were you trying to give Sarah before this excavation happened? Why are you giving that? What evidence did you have prior to that, in my mind, to give deals already? Shouldn't it be in here if it's forensic? We'll see. So, Stacey admitted that Michael had been in the house that night. Something happened on November 10th. And I don't think we're going to get the full story about what happened prior to what we all saw on that camera in the jail with Stacey telling them where to dig. I want to know what that said, what happened here, November 10th. Wanting to know about the deal, looking to scheme his way into something. Knowing Stacey, this is exactly what was going on. Stacey admitted that Michael had been in his house the night of Michael's abduction. Stacey admitted the tricycle had been in his garage where Kim had previously described seeing it. Kim, friend of the Womack's, right? Stacey then said that when he first saw Michael, Sarah was carrying Michael into their home. Stacey said that Michael was put into a duffel bag. Here's where that damn duffel bag comes through. The tool bag that actually was used for tools. Tool bag. It was a little bitty tool bag. Duffel bag, tool bag. to transport him out of the house in Brandon's house to Cuna. They don't have the duffel bag, do they? I wonder. Stacey and Sarah was frantic, trying to figure out what to do with Brandon, and Brandon interjected. I have a duffel bag. Stacey described Michael as crying, and trigger warning. Okay, trigger warning. Stacey described Michael as crying, and to prevent him from moving or making noise, Stacey described how Sarah taped Michael using duct tape. We've probably seen that right already on the leaked post-confession footage. When asked who put Michael in the bag, Stacey said Brandon grabbed the bag and gave it to Sarah. Sarah picked up Michael as Adrian helped hold the sides of the bag open. Literally the bag of like maybe a Ziploc bag and an eighth of a Ziploc bag, I think. It has been once just described as. Brandon grabbed the bag and gave it to Sarah. Sarah picked up and Adrian helped again hold the sides of the bag open, and they shoved Michael, bless him, in the duffel bag. It's really hard to read. Stacey described Michael was wiggling, trying to get away. Stacey said that he could see Michael in the bag with his knees bent up in the fetal position. While describing and demonstrating how Michael was taped and stuffed into this duffel bag in his living room, Stacey had a physical reaction and began violently vomiting. Take a breath, everybody. Because wait. When asked if he was vomiting because of the chewing tobacco he was using, he indicated that he was throwing up because of the stress of talking about Michael. I was told this without any prompt, and I'm sure it's recorded in the jail calls that have been subpoenaed. You will hear him tell me this unwarranted, unprovoked, when I asked to explain what happened in the jail, in Washington County Jail. He said, I threw up because, first of all, I was stressed out. Chris Medina was not as nice as he seems online. And Detective Crimmin gave him the chewing tobacco as, I guess, say more, please, an incentive. And he threw up because it had been a while since he had chewing tobacco, and he swallowed some of it. I have seen many a men vomit from the chewing tobacco nastiness. It is not uncommon. It is not. Stacey provided 2 reasons they stopped in the GMC at the corner of Southwest 8th Street in South Arizona in Fruitland. And his first reason is for Stacey to put power steering fluid into the vehicle, and 2, so Brandon could check to see if Michael was still alive, because he was bound with duct tape and stuffed into the duffel bag in the bed of the truck. Stacey said he was able to hear Michael making noises like a dull scream. Trigger warning. Stacey said they were worried about being seen because they saw a car parked off of South Arizona. And there is a white truck that is always there, or was always there, on the corner of that street on Southwest 8th in Arizona. I think somebody posted that. A neighbor posted about that early on. So that's just hearsay. Stacey said they drove straight to Brandon's mother's house in Cuna, where Brandon grabbed both bags, the duffel bag containing Michael and a backpack, and went into the house by himself. I've heard this creator say the exact thing. So this probable cause is not so probably new to him. Anyway, Stacey, which is a very big violation of someone's rights to due process. Stacey said that once they arrived in Cuna, Michael was not making any more noises, and none of them had checked on Michael to verify he was still alive. Stacey said that Brandon told him he left Michael in the bag and put him in the spare room inside his mother's house. They then towed Brandon's car back to Fruitland. Stacey said that Sarah, Brandon, and Adrian went to Cuna the next day to get Michael. The three of them brought Michael's body back to their house in Fruitland, and he stated that he was inside, Brandon was on guard, and Sarah and Adrian dug the hole together. And we're going to get rid of this thing now. It's okay. It bothers me that much that I just cannot take seeing this thing anymore. All right. It's an OCD thing, guys. Fuck it. All right. Stacey reported he did not, previously report this information because he thought he would still get into trouble and because he was fearful of Sarah hurting him. In an interview, Stacey stated that Michael had a stuffed animal, some sort of stuffed animal. I want to say like a dinosaur or a monkey. And what I saw was a monkey, was a green, and it looked like a green monkey. In one interview, Stacey advised the lime green monkey was a dog toy that he and Sarah gave Michael to keep him quiet while he was sitting on the couch in their living room. Now remember, Sarah's mother up there, I think the page prior to this one, said that she threw away the stuffed deer because the dogs were burying it and digging it up. It's in their nature. But here Stacey is saying that it was, I guess, buried because it was Michael who they gave it to calm down, and it makes no sense because obviously Michael wasn't found, right? But that is alarming. I will say that. I mean, at first glance, it looks alarming, but when you really think about it, yeah, that makes zero sense. So why didn't the dogs hit in the house if he, in fact, was inside the house? The house would have hit there. They're alleging that Michael, his scent was tracked at the very front of the door into the house at 1102 Red Wing and the fence line, August 2nd and 3rd. But the question that you just brought up is, what about inside the house? And I can't tell you for a fact if that happened or not. Like if they actually hit inside. I don't know. I did know that they searched in there, but all right. Additionally, Stacey stated that the idea to take a child to sell for money, here's the alleged motive potentially that everybody had been talking about. That bitch hope remains, or it's probably level-headed depending on the day. It could be her or him, and it could be CJ Crystal, who knows, or it could be PJ, whatever her name is, who knows, or Ivy, who knows. They were all coming up with this very early, so that means those crazy folks over there are literally helping an investigation off of speculation, and this is sad. Additionally, Stacey said that the idea to take a child to sell for money was Adrian's and that they would get a $10,000 cut. Stacey was asked if Sarah provided any direction throughout any part of this. Stacey said that Sarah asked him and Brandon to follow her lead, which was to take the kid. Stacey recalled that most of the conversation at that point was Sarah trying to figure out what they were going to do. That's interesting. Did LE ever dig up Brandon's mom's yard? They did. The cadaver dogs did not hit there. They did not. They found nothing. You have been lied to, my friend. Nothing was ever there in the first place. Then I think nothing was there. Yeah. Nothing was ever reported. They dug for nothing and lied about a leaky toilet. Stupid. They will lie to you, baby. They will lie to you. Those police will lie to you. Sarah had asked Brandon where we should put the body, and Brandon was like, well, you guys can take him to over to my house and we'll deal with it. And that will buy us some time. He's not supposed to be over at his mother's house. But that's a good place to go. Of all the places. Okay. Following his interview with law enforcement, Stacey called his mother, Tammy, from the Washington County Jail on a video visit. So we all heard about this. Tammy asked Stacey if Michael was alive. Stacey shook his head no and said Sarah accidentally killed him. So here's the motive, I guess. Let's recap real quick. Stacey said that it was Adrian's idea to sell Michael for $10,000, which you would need to have him alive. But because it didn't work out, something happened. Sarah accidentally killed him. Okay. Tammy asked how, and Stacey said suffocation, and went on to say they buried him in a duffel bag. They buried him. But he couldn't give specifics, right? After his interview and phone call to his mother, Stacey wrote an apology letter to Michael's parents. And then, get this, attempted to hang himself in his jail cell, but he was rescued by Washington County jail staff. Wow. Whoa. That's very serious. Like, you would only do that if you felt like you were complicit, right? In a horrible crime. Hopefully we get to see that evidence that he tried to hang himself. What I was told, okay, I'm just going to put this out there. Everybody has the right to defend themselves, right? And this is just the public court of opinion being told by the source. I can't even, quote, I can't even hang Christmas decorations. What makes you think I could hang myself? End quote. I'm just, okay, that's what was told to me. It should be noted that during some part of Stacey's incarceration in that Washington County jail, prior to his confession and directions on where to find Michael's body, Sarah was out of custody and living back at the house on Red Wing Street, as evidenced by her being there when law enforcement arrived to execute that search warrant. Sarah could have had the time and ability to move any evidence from the property without Stacey's knowledge. I laugh because, hold on. That's your probable cause for destruction of evidence? Are we fucking kidding? Let's go and look real quick. I have not done this since the charge was announced. Destruction of evidence charge in Idaho. Let me scroll back up really fast. IC 182603. Okay, destruction of evidence. Would be good to know. Every person who knowing that any book, paper, record, instrument in writing or other wait, is this right? Yeah, I'm sorry. Every person who, knowing that any book, paper, record, instrument in writing or other object, matter, or thing is about to be produced, used, or discovered as evidence upon any trial, investigation, authorized by law, willfully destroys, alters, or conceals the same with the intent to prevent it from being produced. Okay. And they are guilty of a misdemeanor unless the trial, proceeding, inquiry, or investigation is a criminal in nature and involves a felony offense, which this is a felony offense, in which case said person is guilty and subject to a maximum fine of $10,000 and a maximum sentence of 5 years. Okay, so I thought it was way more than that. I was wrong. I apologize. Okay. So the suspicion that she could have had the time and ability to move the evidence from the property? Is anybody following this shit? I'm sorry, but I'm getting tired, first of all. And second of all, this does not make any sense. That's not enough. But again, the standard is very low with probable cause affidavits. We'll see what the judge says. Oh my gosh, I have been saying this before I saw this. My theory seems pretty plausible. Allegedly, yes. This is ridiculous. Reasonable doubt. Yeah, I would say so. But wait, let's see if there's any forensic or scientific evidence to back this up. Let's look. Maybe there's something we're missing. Excuse me. In June of 2022, we're jumping all over the place here. Sarah called her mom from jail and spoke about spouses being able to testify against each other. In a recorded phone call from the Washington County Jail to Sarah, Stacey expressed concern that Sarah was going to turn on Stacey. Sarah confirmed that Stacey was referring to Michael, and Sarah told Stacey that she had already told her attorney that she wasn't going to turn on Stacey and that she wasn't going to testify, against Stacey. Stacey then reassured Sarah he never testify against her. Cool. That really, specifically what, though? Because it sounds like, in my opinion, somebody was pinning one on the other in an investigative sense, and it created some suspicion that they could have or may have or blah, blah, blah. And that was what they were talking about. Maybe. Just looking at it from the other end of the aisle here. But who am I? Or it could be suspicious as hell. As a search warrant was executed at 1102 Red Wing on November 12th, Stacey described the exact location as to where to find Michael. Buried in the backyard of the residence, he instructed detectives through video chat. Yes, they do. Need to write, take some writing classes. Ellie, very, very true. Okay, Sarah Wondra, who was located, we're almost there, guys. Phew, my mouth, I'm so tired of talking. But for Michael, we must go on. Okay. Sarah was located in the residence at the time and was detained. I do have the report. Not the report, but the 911 call. Log, if you will. Dispatch notes. Thank you. She was detained and officers read her the search warrant. Here's the leaked probable or search warrant. Sarah made several strange statements. Wow, that is a lot. I definitely did not kill that boy. The Most High God already told me who did it so. Oh, wow. The Most High God just told me that Stacey was the one who killed him and buried him in the yard of Carson's house. Damn Carson. And now you have Dorothy, the random, witness. And now you have Carson getting thrown in the mix. Interesting. She also said the Most High God told her Stacey was the one that killed him and buried him. The Most High God just told me that Stacey was the one who did it. He wants me to make sure that you understand that I had nothing to do with it. Well, very sneaky, Sarah. I'm having a psychosis, but go ahead and make sure that you clear your name. That is interesting, I will say. He said that Stacey buried him in the backyard by the shed. It wasn't actually Stacey who harmed the boy. As officers started to search the residence, Sarah asked several times if the officers had found him yet. Oh boy. Ellie says on another thought, this PCA may explain why no one has been convicted. It's pretty bad. In my opinion, it is very bad. And if anybody believes it, bless them. In my opinion, only. All right, Idaho State Police. We're on the last 2 pages, guys, and we're going to wrap it up, and then I'm going to go live the next time on my thoughts and breaking it down and going over the evidence not the evidence, excuse me, but what I think and what I know. Again, ISP and Ada County Sheriff's Office assisted with the execution of the search warrant at the Wondra residence, along with 5 separate certified canines, cadaver canines. Prior to officers digging in the backyard of the Wondra residence, cadaver canines were deployed and alerted in the backyard of 1102. A total of 5 certified cadaver canines were deployed, and all 5 alerted inside the Wondra backyard in the approximate area of where Stacey claimed he witnessed Sarah and Adrian bury Michael. Remember on the camera, he's like, oh shit, really? They really are? Neither Michael nor any human remains were located during the excavation of this search warrant. Nor Michael nor any human remains were located during this execution of the search warrant. No one's remains. Okay. Where is the scent coming from? Where is this cadaver scent coming from? Hi, lovely lady. I'm glad you're here. Welcome in. And I understand what you're saying. And I'm sorry. Prior to excavating the backyard, law enforcement noted that there were several areas in the yard that appeared to have been filled in with dirt or resodded. Kay and Ed, who is Sarah's parents, reported that they had filled in the areas of the yard where Sarah and Stacey's dog had dug holes because they're weenie dogs. Do we need to play that song again? Nah. Next time. So cute. Been here just listening? Awesome. At various interviews after the disappearance of Michael, Stacey was asked what happened to his and Sarah's cell phones from July of 2021. Stacey and Sarah wanted to detract attentions, so we are not on the radar. And that was the reason they sold their phones. When asked if there was evidence of the crime on these phones, Stacey said there were text messages. Investigation revealed that the Wondras changed their phones approximately 3 times in a 5-month period. Stacey described purchasing SIM cards to put in his cell phone to evade law enforcement. Interesting. I wonder if they ever got those SIM cards and what that means. That still does not imply guilt of that crime. Maybe there was, I don't know, guns all up in that phone, pictures of guns and whatever that he's not supposed to have, which is why he went to prison in the first place in May. But anywho, the GMC pickup was subsequently repossessed for non-payment. Get a drink. Stacey then called Kim's Cars, wanting the truck back or to borrow it. He also told them to hurry up and sell it. Stacey further advised that they sold the Lexus they had at the time Michael was abducted. Well, they have it back now. Sure do. And they got it, what was it? So, January and February of this year? Pretty sure they did. That was the $6,000 that Fruitland wanted or requested from the Michael Reward Fund to pay for it. Okay? Okay. Stacey, or excuse me, I already read that. Within a few weeks of Michael's disappearance, the Wanderer's iCloud data, ooh, maybe they do have something I have. I'm kidding. The Wanderer's iCloud data revealed Stacey and Sarah searched for rental houses in other states, financial assistance in different areas. Guilty. Guilty as sin. Scent could have come from a bloody rag, from a nosebleed, or any. Right? Any injury. Yep. True that. Is there surveillance of them coming and going from Cuna the next day? I'm sure. I'm sure of it. Who would hold 500 plus pounds? Or what would hold? Stacey's bones. I mean, he was 545 pounds bare minimum. And he knows that I'm not trying to be rude, but it's the facts. And he's like, you're right. Doesn't offend me at all. Additionally, a photo of items boxed up was taken on July 30th, as if they were July 30th, 2021, as if they were preparing to move. We got to get out of Dodge. So we're going to take a picture of this box, because this box. Now, I do wonder if that photo of the box, if that same box is the one that was in the garage when they did the excavation that allegedly the tricycle was sitting on top of. Who knows? In summation, whew, my God. Stacey confessed that the 4 members of the household, Sarah, Stacey, Brandon Shurtleff, and Adrienne Lucien, were all involved in the abduction, and killing of Michael. Sweet boy, Michael Vaughan. Their home is in the neighborhood adjacent to where Michael lived and was last seen. The neighbor, Dorothy, saw Michael riding the tricycle near the Wanderer home at the time Michael went missing. That same tricycle was seen in the Wanderer's garage prior to the abduction in the spring. And that tricycle was discarded outside of the neighborhood off of a bluff after Michael went missing. Kay, Sarah's mother, claimed to have found it and moved it to the entrance of the neighborhood, which is refuted by the fact that another neighbor unrelated to the case claimed to have found it and placed it there. How does that refute it? Anyway, Kay's story also does not account for the fact that the tricycle was in the house before being discarded and before Michael went missing. Are you trying to say that Kay, got rid of the evidence for you, for Sarah and Stacey, by throwing it in there? Wouldn't that be on video footage? Video footage would have caught somebody yeeting that thing into the bushes of the bluffs, right? If they can catch Stacey and Sarah and Brandon parked at Southwest 8th in Arizona, I'm sure they can see 73-year-old Kay doing some whatever suspicious shit and throwing this thing in there. That makes no sense to me. Who was it that put it there first? It's giving a lot of planting evidence in my case study Bible that I mentioned from the very beginning of this case, in Summer Wells's case. Maybe we'll need to revisit that just for that example, not to allude to anything. But it is reminding me of it. Live scent track dogs were deployed, and the only house they showed interest in was the Wondra house. The same dog showed interest in the area where Michael went missing from, and the area where the tricycle was discarded. I wonder if the family knows about this, some of the family members. I wonder if this is going to cause a stink. I just got that feeling, and this is like a spiritual thing that just, I don't know. I could be crazy. Based on the foregoing, your affiant is requesting that Stacey Wondra be charged with kidnapping and murder in the first degree, as well as the concealment of evidence. I certify or declare under penalty of perjury pursuant to the laws of the state of Idaho that the foregoing is true and correct. Signed, XOXOXO, Juanita Keller, affiant. Probable cause hearing, telephonic. Now, I told you earlier that I don't know if this is the affidavit that is the one right now to get the warrant for Stacey and eventually Sarah. I don't know if this is the final one so far right now. Because this, when I don't see this, it gives me pause. However, I would assume if they gave it to me, at least bare minimum on the 12th, that she tried. Okay, so maybe the better version is sealed. I don't know. I'm not confident enough to say one way or the other, but I am just presenting to you guys what was given to me by Payette County Clerk. I'm not expecting it. Not really expecting that I'd actually get it. Okay. But that is concerning. Now, what's next? I think that because I took so long, and I'm sorry for that, it's been a while since I pulled a 3.5 hour live. I think that we can wait on the rest. I think that's a lot to digest. Please subscribe and bookmark this video to watch later, because you know you're going to want to reference it back. I know that there's people out there that have been with me and others through hell and back on this case, and you're going to want to reference it. Please do. Put it in a playlist. Download it. Because I don't know. I honestly do not know what's going to happen next. If that is the true PCA. My mouth hit the floor. If I'm going to be honest with you, that was it. There was no forensic data. Usually you would put as much as you could in the most basic sense that, oh, there's plenty here. I mean, I am just going based off of what there wasn't, and what little there was, was very circumstantial for a first-degree murder charge where the death penalty is involved, perhaps. Oof. It's not fair to the family either. In my opinion, I understand that Mike Duke said it's getting dangerous, I guess emotionally harmful for them if they don't get answers. And it almost kind of made me feel like physical, but I don't know. That's speculative. I'm worried about this whole thing. It smells weird, as it always has. And I don't know what to tell you guys other than that I can only offer you what I have. And I'm glad to do it. I'm more than happy to be transparent with you guys, especially the locals who deserve it, who pay their taxes for this, and what's going on in their communities. And I could understand if you were a little upset about it, because I am. Was there a grand jury hearing? I don't think that it went through. I think there was a no true bill a few times, but that I don't know for sure. They are secret in nature, so it was a birdie with the word he told me that. I would love to hear what Miss Jen has to say. I have said this 1,000 times now. Nothing makes sense. I agree. Now, let's just recap before I go. Very, very quickly. Mental health. Mental health issues is definitely a big part of that PCA. Stacey's false confession or alleged confession, false confession, whatever you want to call it, is a big part of it. Hearsay, alleged hearsay of who said what and who saw what is evidence. Eyewitness testimony of this damn tricycle and a scooter that tracked scent a week after Michael went missing is part of it. Looking suspicious with getting rid of phones and SIM cards and whatnot has a lot to do with it. No camera footage of Michael at all. At all. One of the neighbors of Sarah and Stacey saw him at the corner or the opposite side of the street down by Meadowlark. And she doesn't know when. On a tricycle, a pink tricycle that's made for itty bitties. No blood evidence, no forensics mentioned, no testing or anything like that. Nothing outrageous. So I don't know. I think I've covered it pretty much. Tying scent to things at the house of the Wondras is basically what I think is their biggest, besides the confession, is where they're going. Scent tracking. Live scent tracking. A week after Michael already vanished. So, okay. I feel ill. About this. Being not... honest to God, I don't see how these charges could even go a step further unless there's something else that they didn't put on there and we're all being played. I don't know. That's all I have for tonight, guys. Thank you so much for being here. I'm at a loss for words. I knew that this was kind of a thing that was going to happen. When I say the right kind of justice, this is what I mean. This is what I was afraid of. This is not the right kind to me, if this is it, if this is really it. I love you so much, guys. Team Michael, justice for Michael Vaughan. We will go over things that I could possibly assist and clear up in my opinion, in this PCA next time, just hit that notification bell so that you're notified. Drink your water, hug yourself and your babies. Much love to you guys. Team Michael. Bye.
Did you make a move? I bet you did. I bet you did. You think you're slick, think you're cool, but you're a fool. You better listen to me. Listen to me. I have a feeling you don't wanna know what she'll do to you. Oh, she's always right. You think you got away with it. You think you got away with it. You think you got away with it.